watching from the window as the rain begins to fall. Different streets, but we're walking through it all. You carry your story, I carry mine, but the weight feels the same when we stand in line. And I know we don't look the same, but I hear you call, standing together, watching the world go round. Standing together, we won't let it down. Your hands language, mine never learned, but the fire inside us both still burn. Different colors painted on the same old sky, every shade, beautiful, just look twice. And I know we don't sound the same, but I feel you call, standing together, watching the world go round. Standing together, we won't let it down. Standing together, our differences keep us standing together. This is where we belong. Nobody said it would be easy to see through another man's eyes, but the love that we keep building is worth every compromise. Standing together, watching the world go round. Standing together, we won't let it turn us down. Standing together, our differences keep us strong. Standing together, this is where we belong.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Watching the World. Tonight we have a show in store. We're going to do a deep dive into Nolan Wells, and I guarantee you, I'm going to show you some things you haven't heard or seen before. As you guys know, oftentimes I go to these court cases. Tonight's going to be more laid back, so relax yourself. I'm going to break this down for you so you can understand, all right? But you know, I go to these court cases. Sometimes it's very hard to get through because we're sitting on the church pews, those hard wooden seats all day long. They don't even want you to have a sip of a juice or something. You have to only drink water, no candy or anything of the like. But the key here is throughout the court process, they always build a good argument if you're listening to a case that's worth its salt, right? Tonight, I'm going to try to build an argument for you to help you to understand that perhaps, now we don't know for sure, but perhaps Nolan Wells was not on the Triton boat. In this case, there's so many smoke and mirrors, okay? Tonight, I'm going to show you more than likely he was not on the Triton boat. And if you take that away, the whole house of cards come tumbling down. One thing I want to let you know, in order to understand this show tonight, I would advise you to take out a white sheet of paper and actually take notes, because there's so many different facts coming at you. But at least if you're taking notes, by the end of the night, you should be able to see a structure that'll paint a picture for you. And I think we're going to do a great job at developing these ideas, okay? I want to make it very clear, we're not accusing anybody of anything. There are no suspects, right? They're not charging a group. This is no RICO charge, right? Ironically, many people are pointing to the fact that the attorneys haven't really pointed fingers at anyone, not even the audio. Ben Crump hasn't come forward and said, listen, this audio shows that something nefarious happened. So we don't have anything of a sort. We want to make it very clear. But tonight we're going to discuss this in a way to help you to understand what's happening. To the fact, now I want you to keep in mind, we're going to start off by going through Warren's words. You know how I like to get back to Warren because he was an eyewitness, right? Very important, right? He was an eyewitness, contemporary. Oftentimes he tells you what he saw, what he heard the day. And also we have a few other people now. We have Jax and we have the other fellow too, right? Morgan. All of them tell us a story that points to key facts in this case. And so we're going to get to it. I want to first start off by saying, first, we're going to get, when Warren explains how the day develops, all of that is very important. You should be here for the entire show if you really want to understand that perhaps Nolan was not even on the Triton at all. And if he wasn't on the Triton, that tells us a whole different story. Because in the last show, remember, I showed you guys by means of the report, the police report, that the Palm Beach boat was never mentioned in the police report. Why is that the case? There were 3 boats, and we're going to start off by looking at that. 3 boats. One of the boats just went missing completely. Well, if you're doing a thorough investigation and you have a police report, why don't you add in such a key ingredient? Also, in the police report, I showed you that the Triton, as far as the GPS, because the authorities actually went in and they downloaded the GPS from the Triton and also the Tidecraft, which is Bart's boat. Okay, that's what we understand. But in the police report, they don't tell you the GPS breakdown for Bart's boat. What they did was they duplicated the Triton. So basically, you're looking at the same boat twice. Well, that doesn't do us any good at all, right? Because now we only understand where the Triton went. As you hear different individuals talking tonight that we're going to discuss, some of them say, listen, we actually went a different direction, but we're not privy to the direction they went because the report does not give us that information. So let's start off the day. I think it's very appropriate to start off with Warren's own words. And we're going to take a look at how the morning started. It's very important that you understand you have to use your imagination to a certain extent because they don't tell you a lot about Nolan, right? Warren is going to tell you he gets up. Well, number one, they had a sleepover. It's Warren, it's Nolan, it's Jax, right? They get up in the morning. Warren goes to McDonald's. He says Nolan doesn't go. He tells you how he goes from one dock at Fort Bayou over to the dock of a grandfather of one of the boys, right? Or one of the friends. But he doesn't tell you how Nolan gets from that dock to the other dock. So a lot of these situations we'll never know because Nolan is no longer here. But tonight we're going to be able to piece it together because different boys are saying different things. So come along for the ride, but take good notes so you understand where we're going with this particular situation. We're going to start off with Warren's words to Officer Tatum. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe.
That may have occurred more than just this year.
Yeah, of course.
Was it something that you guys did more than just this year? This is a 2-part question. I want to know, is it something that you guys typically did together, that you hang out often in this fashion? And then I want you to then walk me through 4th of July this year when the incident happened.
Okay. Being from the Gulf Coast, there's a boating and fishing is very, very popular. The 4th of July, every year, my friends and I or my family and I are out on the water. I mean, that's the one day is guaranteed everybody's going out. And that's a known thing. Everybody's trying to get a ride out to Horn Island or, people go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And, we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year. And he was, this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home. Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also.
Already we have an issue because we have to assume that Officer Tatum's crew is the one doing the edits on these videos. Notice the way they edit the video, they make it appear that his friends and last year, notice how it's cut. It's quite interesting, but let's see if we can go back and capture this thought. Check out how the videos are cut in key parts when certain explanations are being made.
People go to Ship Island, but most of everybody from Ocean Springs and the Gulf Coast go to Horn Island. And, we went last year. Nolan was on the boat with me last year. And
see how that's cut? Nolan was on the, see how it's cut? It shouldn't be cut if it was a complete thought, okay? But that's going to be important. Pay attention to how that was cut.
He was, this was a common thing. My friends go on the boat when we're home. Very, very common. That's what we like to do. My friends like to fish also, and like to go on the boat, not just fishing, but like to go on the boat, like to go on sunset cruises, like to do it all, on the water, And Nolan loved to do that too. He was not like he was just like everyone else in our friend group. He loved to go on the water and, have a good time with the guys. And that's what we did a lot. But 4th of July.
All right. So now we're down to the day of question. Check this out.
Everybody was out there. Like I said, like Nolan was always trying to go on the boat, trying to go out there with us. And he was always welcome to come. Nolan was always out there with us. And, but started 4th of July, my buddies and I had talked about this week's upcoming, everybody's very, very excited for the 4th of July from down here. Like it's a big thing.
It's a big deal.
Very, very big deal. And, I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house. And
okay, so that's the first point. They stayed at the buddy's house. We're going to later learn that that's Jack's, but him, along with Nolan, stayed at Jack's house. Okay, you have to definitely write that down.
And I woke up at my buddy's house, and we went to McDonald's, got food. Nolan was not with me.
Nolan was not with him. That's another key point. Write that down.
And I went and got breakfast. I had my buddy's boat hooked up to my truck. And well, first I ran to my house, then I went to McDonald's.
So now he says he has his buddy's boat hooked up to his truck. Okay, we're going to find out whose boat and what's the name of the boat. But you have to note he's pulling a boat, but he's also going to tell you about another boat. That's going to be very important.
And came back, and the boat was already hooked up to my truck. My buddy Wyatt and I went and
see, initially everybody thought that he stayed at Wyatt's home because he's talking about Wyatt, Nolan. He doesn't mention Jack's. We learn about Jack's later on, and we have to go back and infer that this is Jack's house where the keys and the cell phone are found, okay, or discovered or given back. Okay, but now he's talking about Wyatt. Don't just readily assume they stayed at Wyatt's home. That's a big mistake that many people make. But Wyatt has two boats, and I believe they belong to the grandfather. He says he's already pulling a boat. Okay, now check out what he says.
With my buddy, and we went, filled.
You see how it's cut? He says, my buddy. Check this out. This is very clever, but this is probably more of Officer Tatum. Watch how when he says, my buddy, they cut it so you don't catch the name. Check this out.
My buddy Wyatt and I went and
watch this
with my buddy, and we went.
See, my buddy Wyatt and I went with my buddy. Then they cut it, and you don't get to hear who the third buddy is. You hear that? Okay, so let's go back. Let's keep going.
Filled the top of the boat off, loaded it down with ice, and just got everything ready. Then Wyatt went and put his smaller boat in the water. Okay,
so he's pulling a boat, but Wyatt puts a smaller boat on the water. There's two boats, okay? One guy cannot pilot or drive two boats. So you now begin to realize that Warren is probably going to drive one of the boats. Check it out.
Which is the Palm Beach. He's an 18.
It's the Palm Beach. It's the Palm Beach. That's the boat that never made it to the police report. And I broke that down last week. So he's actually the first one that's driving the Palm Beach, the anonymous, the invisible boat from the standpoint of the police report.
8-foot Palm Beach. And why I drove the boat from Fort Bayou boat launch to my buddy's grandparents' house, and that's where we all planned to meet up that day.
When you
And
say we all, who you talking about? You, Nolan, or Nolan, and how many people are going to meet you guys there?
we had roughly 20 to 30 people coming on 3 separate.
So he doesn't tell you that Wyatt drove the other boat, but they are his boats essentially. They're his grandfather's boats, so you could assume Wyatt drove one. He says he drove the Palm Beach from Fort Bayou to the dock where they're meeting 30 people, right?
Boats with us, and so we were all following each other out there as one big group. You know, it wasn't just me and Nolan and a couple other of my buddies. There was 20 or 30 people spread out where we all met at the dock before, and then we departed to go to Horn Island. It wasn't just a couple of us. I mean, there were so many people, we had to split up between 3 boats, and we all left and all got there at the same time.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
He never tells you how Nolan gets from Fort Bayou, where they were staying, that was their access point. He doesn't tell you how Nolan leaves Fort Bayou to get to this dock, all right?
Sure that's clear, because the statements that are out there made it appear that it was just you, Nolan, and probably 2 or 3 other guys, and y'all are the only ones that went out to this island.
And that's completely incorrect. I mean, Horn Island on the 4th of July is the most popular day to be on the water on, you know, throughout the entire Gulf Coast. I mean, everybody and their mom is on the water on 4th of July, you know. There's no telling. I mean, roughly probably 2 to 3, maybe even 4,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision ended, until I could see of people from, I mean, there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats.
Yeah.
I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island to where, I mean, who knows? I mean, and that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. I mean, there's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, I mean, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to go back to you guys at the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on?
Okay, we're going to pause here for 1 second, all right? And I'm going to show you, I want to put this in context so everybody can fully understand what we're doing here. So let's see if I can get this up for you. Pay attention to the layout. All right, so now we have the map, okay? This is the actual map. I want to give you a visual because I want people to be able to follow. So right here from Fort Bayou, this is what he's talking about. You can see where the boats actually get on the water. You have the docks here. So they had 2 boats. They came in to Fort Bayou, and they took these 2 boats over here to El Camino Road. You see where the location is, right? So this is basically where the dock was located. I don't want to point out the exact home, but one of these homes here was where their meeting point. And I'm going to actually show you the video to show actually individuals actually getting on the boat. So they were able to get on the boat here, El Camino Real Road. You see this? They came down through here, all the way down under this bridge, and it takes you all the way here to Horn Island. So this is Horn Island here, okay? So it's very important for you to understand the context of how this came together. Going back up, they would have to go back up under the bridge. This is Fort Bayou. At some point, you're going to hear them say they stopped at Fort Bayou. So now you can understand what that means. They came through here and they had to go back to the dock. So this is back to the dock. All right. So this just gives you some context as to what was happening that day. All right. So now we're going to go back and listen to the video some more. Just bear with me for 1 second here. I'm going to pull that back up for you. Okay, so let's continue. Guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe.
On, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton.
Okay, so my argument tonight is going to be that Nolan was likely not on the 22 Triton. Okay, I'm going to show you why. And when it dawned on me, when I realized that this could be the case, I was like, wait a minute, I'm understanding this case completely wrong. So anyway, he just told you Nolan got on the Triton, which was Wyatt's second boat. Okay. Remember, he drove the Palm Beach initially.
On the way out, I went with my buddy Bart.
So now he switches from driving the Palm Beach. Now he says he goes with his buddy Bart. Okay. I'm going to make an argument today that not only did he go with Bart from the initial morning. Now, we don't know if this to be true or not, but I'm going to show you something that would lead us to believe that it could be right. I'm going to make an argument that Nolan, perhaps even Warren, and also Jax, at least potentially went on the boat with Bart. Okay, so let's keep watching.
Because we had a lot of friends from college coming down, and Bart, I called Bart that morning. I was like, hey, man, can you take your boat out? And he was like, yeah, well, my dad decided not to go, and I'll take the boat.
Now, I want you to keep in mind, this is very important to understand this. So you have Warren, you have Jax, and you have Nolan that stayed the night together. Those three guys, okay? They stayed the night together. Then Warren said he asked Bart to go along. That's four, okay? So that just sets the stage that these guys stayed together except for Bart. It would only make sense that perhaps they all went on the same boat, okay? I don't know for sure, but I'm going to give you an argument to help you to understand how we could get there, how we could gather that.
I'll take you and your friends, of course. I mean, he's a buddy of mine. And so Bart pulled up at the dock, and I mean, I rode out there with Bart, and a lot of the girls that go to college with my friends and I, and Nolan rode out on the Triton, and then we had a Palm Beach.
So he rode on with Bart, but Nolan went on the Triton. Okay, I'm going to dispute that for tonight's show. Okay.
18 Palm Beach. There was 4 guys on that. There was like 8 people on the Triton, and then there was 8 or 9 people on the Triton, and then there was the rest of the group, which was probably ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit.
Now, keep in mind, when I showed you the police report last week, Bart's boat, the actual GPS is not on the police report, the initial one we received. Maybe there's an update. We don't know, but on the initial police report, it's not there.
More than the audience do.
Neither is the Palm Beach mentioned at all.
To do, because we went out there a little earlier, because I wanted to see exactly what the drive was like, what the dock was like, how far it is out there.
Of course.
But I want you to tell, the audience, like, what was this trip like? How was the waters? Did you
like they took, this is the
Okay, so now we're going to take a look at what the boys had to say in regards to the mom and dad, because it's very important to understand this part before we get too deeply in this. So let me pull this up for you. Again, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Pay attention to what Jax has to say here, I believe, in regards to the father and how he speaks about Nolan.
definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. This is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different. We didn't treat Tristan.
I'm sorry, can you guys hear me okay? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I think some had issues. Let's see. Can you hear me okay, guys? Put a 1 in the chat. Okay, great. All right, so now let's pay attention to how Jax is going to refer to Nolan.
Any different. We don't treat Chase any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism. And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
If I mean, first I want to say I wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today.
Let's go back to 17, I believe. Let's see.
Would have never, like, I think about this every day. Like, I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone. And like, it's really hard to think about because it's like, I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different, because now one of my brothers wouldn't have like passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started texting us things, saying, crazy things. But I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's
so you can see they're very intrigued by this whole race situation, right? It's the dominant part of the conversation so far.
Really bad that like people are pushing the narrative, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is a bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is, like in the beginning it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Like, even from the beginning, it was just like this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has like been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would.
You notice how he said that he was the first one to call Christine, right? Notice that part, okay? I want to show you her perspective on this situation. It's going to be very revealing in regards to this matter. So let me just pull up. I'm going to tie in what Christine had to say in regards to this as well.
And then we have different stories about when they arrived back on the mainland.
Just give me 1 second to pull it up here.
Starts pumping it out. In this situation, the bilge pump.
Let's see if I could find it.
He grew
so
up with. And when I
all right, let's see here. It's a lot to pull up. We have 9:30. Okay, so pay attention. He said he was the first one to reach out to Christine. I want you to notice what Christine has to say in her own words.
full of young men that we actually knew, like he grew up with. And when I say grew up, I'm saying from like first grade, they've known each other all through high school now that they're graduated. And that would be like Jalen and Javon, LeBaron. Those are kids that we knew. So it's been hard seeing all this kind of play out.
Yeah.
And, you know, these are people that he considered friends.
Yes. Dad, I want to ask you, because it was Warren Hudson, one of the people that he traveled with, who called to alert you all.
All right, so this is the key part.
That Nolan was missing.
Yes.
So we know at 5:44, the boat returns, Nolan is not there. At 11 p.m., he calls to say Nolan is missing. I wonder if either of you, whoever wants to answer.
So he called at 11 p.m. to say that Nolan was missing on July the 4th. That's a key point to write down, okay? But keep in mind that he just said that he was the one that initiated this call, right? He did the noble thing. Check out this.
What happened in those few hours that prompted Warren to be concerned?
I'm not quite sure what would prompt him to be concerned, but all I can say is what I did that day. So Me and my sister, we made pancit, which is a Filipino noodle dish for one of our friends. They were having a big family get together, and we really didn't have anything planned for the 4th. So me and my sister are, cleaning up, and this is about 8. And she's like, hey, Nolan hasn't texted us. And that was the thing. Nolan was really big with communication with us, right? And so I call him, doesn't answer. I end the call. Call back, and this is probably, I think, maybe around 8. Don't quote me on the times, guys. So then I call again later around 8, still no answer.
So she's calling Nolan back to back, trying to get a hold of her son. He's not responding, right? Now keep in mind, who has his phone, right? You guys know who has his phone when his mother is continually trying to reach him. You know that feeling must be frightening.
And then I want to say I called one more time, and I think that was at like 10:48.
So she calls at 10:48. Warren calls her at 11:07. You follow? Okay. So they have his phone. The mother is calling the phone, right? She's calling 10:48, 11:07. They call the mother because the heat is on. Check it out.
So I'm in the kitchen, my phone rings. Now this is probably like early 11 o'clock, somewhere around there. Phone rings when I make it back to the phone, and I'm like, whose number is this? Because, we get weird phone calls sometimes. They didn't leave a message. Number pops back up. I pick up the phone because it says maybe Warren. And I'm like, Warren? So this is 11:07. That's per my cell phone records. So I answered the phone, and he's like, hey, Miss Christine, have you seen or talked to Nolan? I said, no. Why? He should be with you guys. And he said, oh, no, well, when we went to the island, there was a girl named Katie that he met, and he had decided to stay behind. I said, what?
Okay, so let's pause here for a minute. Last week when I did the show and I showed you the police report, remember the police report doesn't mention Katie. It mentions another girl. So in that same night when the police report was made, they say they talked to these boys. Katie is not mentioned in the police report. They mention the other girl. When the police go to talk to the other girl, she says, I was not even at that island. I was at Petty Boy, or whatever you want to call that island. And she said, I haven't spoken to Nolan in a year. But yet they told the mother that Nolan was with Katie, right? So something appears to be off here. Let's go.
Because we know our child. And Nolan isn't one to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to throw caution to the wind and I'm going to stay here with this girl that I just met. So I'm on the phone with him. Now I'm in a panic. I'm running into my room. Elmore was in bed watching a different movie. And I'm like frantic. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, Nolan is missing. I'm trying to pull up the GPS as I'm talking to him. And at some point, he tells me that I was like, well, his phone says GPS Life 360, not Snapchat.
Right.
Life 360 says that he's on land, and he was.
So keep in mind that she has 360. It's an app that helps you track your loved one, and she can see exactly where that phone is tracking. Okay, so that's how she was able to come or send. I think it's Javon's mother to come and pick up the phone from their home. So that 360 app is very essential to understanding the story.
It's like, well, no, I mean, we have his phone. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, okay. Because at that point, you're telling me, this is coming from Warren, don't worry about it. We're going to find him. It's going to be okay.
Somebody tell you, don't worry about your son, your kid, right? Everything's going to be okay. Oh my.
Don't tell me not to worry. This is my child, my flesh and blood that I brought into this world. And you're telling me not to worry. Absolutely not. So then it was after the phone call ended, of course, asking him for information. What was he wearing? He was like, last seen, Northwest tip, black shorts, sunglasses. That's important. So
they described him as wearing black shorts when actually he had on blue all day. Okay, may have been an oversight, but something you want to notate?
I end up calling DMR, spoke with the DMR. She took all
Just
the
for our audience, DMR.
So DMR is because he went missing on the island. They are basically the marine people, right? They're the ones who's going to launch the boats to go into the water and all that. But before getting off the phone with Warren, he was like, hey, I know some people at Coast Guard. I said, okay. He's like, I'm going to call Coast Guard. You call DMR. Get on the phone with DMR.
He said he knew some people at the Coast Guard. So that's not like calling the Coast Guard. That's like calling somebody you know that works at the airport. It's not going to be the same as if you call through the regular number at the airport and say, listen, I have an issue. When you're calling someone you know, well, that's a little bit different, right?
Give the young lady the information. And she tells me, hey, you know, I got this. Let me call you back. Because she was like, I'm not sure if this is going to be in our jurisdiction, essentially. So then she calls back and she tells me, okay, yeah, you know, we spoke with Coast Guard. And I'm like, okay, but they're like, this isn't our jurisdiction. You have to contact the city of Ocean Springs.
All right. So now they have to call the city, right? Different jurisdiction.
I said, okay, hang up the phone, call in Ocean Springs Police Department. They say, hey, you have to physically come down and give a report. I said, okay. So on our way, because we don't live that far from the police station, on our way there, I was like, well, let me stop by the hospital because there's a hospital that's maybe 5 minutes up the road from our house.
She's panicking, right? I know you know what she's talking about. She's panicking, just hoping to find a glimpse of her son.
Stop by there. I'm like, hey, have you guys seen this kid? Has he been brought in? The lady's like, no, ma'am. You know, we hadn't. I said, okay, thank you. Run out. We go to the police department. Get to the police station. And the officer basically says, again, this is out of our jurisdiction. And at that point, I'm like, my God, who am I supposed to talk to? Who?
This is crazy, right? Did you know that? She can't even find the proper individuals to talk to.
Who is supposed to help me with this? So then he said, it's going to be, you would have to call DMR. I was like, we've already called DMR. DMR said it's not in their jurisdiction. So we end up, I think at some point I had called Jackson County Sheriff's Office. Yeah. So she calls back and she's like, hey, are you there? I say, yes, we're here. But he's telling us the same thing you guys told us, which is no, we can't take it. She gets on the phone.
Okay, so the argument tonight is not about who killed Nolan. We're letting the police follow that. I think we're going to see some things develop here shortly, right? That's just what I think, all right? But tonight we're focusing on the fact that I'm going to build an argument that I don't think Nolan was on the Triton boat that everybody keeps saying he was on. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you by means of video, okay? We don't have 100%, but you could probably come to a reasonable conclusion based on what I'm telling you. The reason why I'm showing you what the mother is saying now is because Warren was saying, hey, look, when it came to calling at 11 p.m., I was the one that called the mother. But now we start to find out from the mother that right before that, she's blowing up Nolan's phone. And they have his phone. And so what do you think is going to happen next if she keeps calling Nolan's phone and not getting answers? So she's forcing people's hands to respond, right? You could look at it that way. All right. So let's keep going.
With the police officer now.
Guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Thank you.
This is Jackson County Sheriff's Department speaking with the Ocean Springs Police Department. Ocean Springs Police Department is saying, this is why we can't take this information. She says, okay. He gives me the phone back. And she's like, okay, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take the information. And that was, we met an officer. It was after midnight. Right? Yeah, it was somewhere after midnight. Met him in the McDonald's parking lot, gave him the information. He was just like, okay, thanks. That I was like, like, where is the urgency?
Mm-hmm.
No urgency at all. The frustration, right? This is real life, folks.
And so, as far as we know, there were no boats on the water that night. We actually, his high school football coach, Coach Bramlett, text Elmore that morning. He said, hey man, I got a boat. Because again, we don't have.
Now, it's very important that I lay this out for you. In accordance with the police report that I went over last week, you have to go back and watch that show. The reason why the police did not find it to be an emergency is because of the way the story was framed to them, the way that Warren or whoever expressed it to them. They basically said, listen, he stayed on the island with a girl and we have his phone. He forgot his phone. So the police says, okay, we don't see any need for an emergency. That's in the police report. Okay, so not only is he missing, but now he's being handicapped because this whole story about Katie, but in actuality, it wasn't Katie on the police report. It was a different girl who said she hadn't spoken to Nolan in over a year. What are we doing? Did somebody send the police on a wild goose chase? Right? We went over this last week. Okay, let's keep going.
Boats. Let me make that very clear. We do not have a boat. We're not boating people. We don't do water like that. Okay. So Coach Bramlett's like, hey, I got a boat. So we was like, great, let's go. We're on the water. We go out there. We walk the island. Cell phone works perfectly fine. I actually had an almost.
She's out there walking on the island looking for her son. Can you imagine that? The next day. Can you imagine that, right?
An entire conversation with my grandmother who was in a panic as we're walking this island looking for anything.
I just want
You know, grandmas tend to worry, right? You know how that pressure goes.
to pause there. The cell phone worked fine because in the reporting, there's been so much reporting that there's poor cell phone reception. And this is some of the disputes that we have about that night. Dad, feel free to jump in here because they're saying he met this.
Some have said Nolan didn't have his phone because, you know, the reception was so bad. The mother actually goes to the island and she has reception, right? Probably on a similar plan. Reasonable to think that. So things are starting to look a little weird. Wait till you hear from the dad.
Young lady, Katie, and that he stayed back. According to the reporting, Katie is saying no. He said he was going to go with his friends. According to the reporting, the friends say, no, he left us his phone because there was no reception. Dad, have you found any consistencies? Have you spoken directly with any of his friends?
Well, the first inconsistency was you called me and tell me my son stayed on the island to talk to a girl. My son would never do that.
Son would never do that, right? He knows his son.
That's not in his character. I didn't raise none of my kids to do that. The second thing is you say he doesn't have his phone. He doesn't leave his phone. I will wake up sometimes in the morning.
Why would Nolan leave his phone on a sinking boat? He's staying behind on an island trying to get a ride. He wouldn't take his phone as a backup plan. What if he pays for food with his phone? Most people do that nowadays. A lot do, especially young ones. They have Apple Pay and such. Why would he leave his phone behind if he had his consciousness, right? Why? Why is that the case?
And Nolan would have his phone here right in my face. And I'm waking up cussing and fussing like, boy, you don't get the camera on my face. And he just laughing and giggling and stuff like that. So that's twice. To me, there's two lies that he told me as a father. Like I said, we went on the island. And actually a classmate of mine called me that morning as we were going out to the island with Nolan's coach. He's like 40 miles away. He calls in, hey man, I got the boat. Me and my boys, we're gonna go out there and help you look. I didn't call him, he called me. And we're gonna start on this end. I said, well, we're probably gonna start on the other end. So me, my wife, Coach Bramlett, and a high school classmate of mine were the only, we were the first ones out there looking. Like I said, we docked the boat, got out the boat, walked on the island. She had a whole conversation with her grandmother on the island, got back on the boat, went back around the island. I guess that would be the north side, facing the Gulf of Mexico. I get another phone call. So my phone worked fine. So this whole thing about—
All right, so his phone is working fine too, guys.
not having phone service. I don't know. I don't know if it's the carrier or what, but ours work fine. I think those around maybe 8 o'clock.
Yeah, because I think we finished up around.
Who was it? Jackson County or the
Jackson County Sheriff
finally showed up.
Yeah.
A couple of boats, they finally showed up. By that time, I was like, he's not out here. I was more focused that he was at someone's house.
That was the
So that's where my hopes and feelings were. So we left. The county stayed out there. My friend, he stayed out there because he called. He's like, well, we're gonna stay out here a little bit longer. I said, okay, I appreciate it. So we leave. Then I would say maybe a couple hours later, my friend calls me back. And he said, well, we're gonna give it and go. But he said, look, I can gas the boat back up. And if you want to go back out there.
That's the type of friend that everybody needs, right? Friend in need is a friend indeed.
We can go back out there. I said, I don't want to go back out to the island. I have a feeling that he's not there. And I don't want to go back to the island. So he said, he said, well, if you do, we can go right now. I said, don't worry about it. I appreciate you coming out there. But he said at that time that helicopters were out there, more Coast Guard, more people out there. So we get back on land. And as far as the keys.
Okay, so now we're going to get to the keys. I'm going to back up a little bit. That's going to be a different point we're going to make in regards to jacks. So we have to come back to that one. All right. So now we're going to go back and take a look at a different angle of this. And by the way, guys, I have an individual coming on that's actually from Mississippi. So he'll be coming on the show. It should be exciting for you guys that tune in to Watching the World. We'll get to interview boots on the ground indeed. So that'll be so amazing. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a different angle here.
You could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
All right, so let me pull this up for you. Okay, let's see here. All right. Okay, so now we're going to check this out. Guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Notice what the boys have to say in regards to how things develop.
Call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat. I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed? Why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody?
You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie.
If you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to Cito? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts?
If you had the chance to interview these individuals, when you say, what does it mean in the background when somebody's saying Nolan and he's a quarter of a mile back at the shore? Why is a girl saying, is he dead? Wouldn't you take the time to articulate and ask those type of questions, right? You have them right there, full audience. Those would be amazing questions that I would definitely have to ask first. I would get right to business.
First, you guys on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area the way it was produced? So what do you guys think about that audio?
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat, as it's not rolling, but right there sitting in the water, Wyatt's on the phone with Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom on the floor or something or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at them or something. I mean, that,
You know what this tells you? It tells you that they get a chance to hear and see the things that are said online. So they came to dispel a lot of these rumors, and they came to actually clear up their name. You could just see those talking points right off the beginning here.
it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat? I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? You know, why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead.
I think especially about the Cito.
You know what you probably would hear if it was someone in your family you really love? You would say, man, I would never kill my brother. I love my brother. My brother meant the world to me, right? You wouldn't say, well, you didn't see my brother lying on the ground outside. You wouldn't say things like that, would you?
So-called, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. I think half these people, or not half these people, but some of these people you can't convince. Regardless, they're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on.
Okay, guys, I want to give you guys a little quick tour here. I don't want to get too deeply into this, but I want to show you something here. Pay close attention to this on the boat. A lot of people are saying this is a steel frame.
They're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip.
Okay, so here's the clip right here.
But you put out, Brandon, that.
Okay, so a lot of people think this is a steel frame. I want you guys to pay attention to right here, just beyond this mark. I'm going to show you something's actually going to poke up from the floor level. Okay, so check this out.
Clip.
I want you to look right here. Okay, look right here.
Of the boat when Wyatt was on.
Did you see that right here? I'm going to play it for you one more time. So this is actually a video, but you see something pop up. Watch this.
A clip.
Watch right here, okay? Watch this very carefully. You're going to see something pop up.
Of the boat when Wyatt was.
See that? See this here? What is that? Okay? Something pops up. So this is definitely not a steel frame, okay? I'm going to see if I can get a different angle of this, whatever it is. I don't know if I can get it or not. Okay, let's see.
Cito, and it is boldly.
Okay, I'm going to try a little bit more. Okay, let's see.
And it.
One more time. Okay.
Boat when Wyatt.
Right there. You see this thing poke up from below the wall of the boat. Okay. Something is kicking up. I don't know what it is.
Was on the phone with Cito, and it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture,
you don't see any water. You don't see any water at all.
Everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you'd see me, I'm sitting on the bow. If there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito?
Guys, I don't want to really get into this whole deal about whether that was a foot or a hand or what have you. But anyway, give me 1 second here. I'll see if I can, everybody wants to see something here. Just give me 1 second. I'll see if I could find, I wasn't planning on showing this, but you guys are, oh my goodness, Nolan. Let's see if I could find it. Here we go. All right, I want to give you guys a quick, well, actually, I need to show it a different way. I'll try to show it this way.
Video of the actual boat as they're getting towed.
Okay, so you see, look, there it is right there. See that? Y'all see it? Oh my God, what is that? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a fish. I don't know. You see it right there? That's it right there. You guys wanted to see a close up. That's the best we can get it. You see that right there? It actually goes down. So this is not a steel frame. Look there. I'm reversing it. It comes back up. Okay. Now watch it. This is whatever it is. It's from the floor level. It comes up. Look at that. Right there. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. This is not what the show is about. Okay. Okay. But you guys see it. So this is not a steel frame photo. Okay. We're gonna do it one last time. See that? It does a full like this. It does a full circle, right? Look at there. It's perfect. It's like a perfect 180. You see that? It's reminiscent of someone doing a backstroke, when you go like this when you're swimming. All right, you see that? I don't know what it is. Might be a part of the boat, might be a fish jumping in all that water.
Of the actual boat.
I don't know what it is, okay? But anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to business. All right, let's get back to it.
It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is
Jennifer said, drop the mic. Oh my God.
why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it.
Remedy, don't y'all get started tonight, please. Okay, please.
The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So it's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool.
All right, that was not a part of the show. So for you guys to say you're done and ready to go now, you have to stick around for the real argument of the show. You guys are too much.
Party, because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back.
You know what that reminds me of, Fat Joe? Do the rock away. Lean back. It's crazy.
And all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, man. We're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you
Somebody said they saw the back of a heel of a foot. Okay, thank you.
hit the like and subscribe button, and also join our membership.
Guys, go support Officer Tatum. I've been using his material, so definitely go hype him up.
Program. Let's get back to the interview. And if you guys could say,
he does a great job, though. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but that's facts. I mean, he was able to get a lot of information. We would never even understand what happened to Nolan if it wasn't for him interviewing these guys.
Say one thing to naysayers out there, in your opinion, that are naysayers. I want to give you, a 30-second opportunity to say what you would want to say to people regarding what you're saying are lies that have been told about you. And I could start here and we'll go all the way down to, and we'll end with you, Ed. But Morgan, if you had an opportunity to have this projected to everybody in the United States of America, many people who have made statements about you and about what occurred that day, what would you say to them? Like just a 30-second, this is what you would want to convey.
I mean, first I would say that, it's proven in evidence that they're all lies. I think that most of these people are just going to, I say most of these people, a lot of these people that have posted stuff out there, they've just been lies backed by no evidence. And if I had one thing to say to them, I'd say, do your research before you go out saying something that's not true, that could hurt someone. Just do your research. I mean, it's easy. All you have to do is just scroll like they do all day long and find the evidence that's right in front of their face. And I mean, it'll prove its own facts.
I could say I would want to add on to that, do the proper research. Sort through all the lies. I mean, and a lot of these stuff, you can just tell straight off the bat it's lies. And for one, it's defaming us. And for two, it makes you look like a dummy. I mean, like, you're just saying stuff, just pulling it out of who knows where, and you just look like an idiot on your phone making this TikTok or whatever. Like, dude, like,
Not happy with the TikTokers, okay?
do your research, man. Like, if you can't simply do that, don't get on your phone and start making a video.
It's just kind of concerned me with like how people have the time of day to just make up complete lies out of something that they have no evidence of and to post on social media to put other people down. It's insane to me, like how like just people push this and want to make this a story that it's absolutely not. I don't know what happened to Nolan. My friends don't know what happened to Nolan. But for people to come
So there you have the guys. They don't have a clue what happened to Nolan.
around and say, "Oh, this happened for a fact, and I know this, and there's no telling me otherwise," then that's just stupid. You have no, like, half these people that are saying all these crazy things on the internet, those lies have already been debunked. There's evidence supporting this is a lie. Like, why are you still saying this? These people just have no idea what they're talking about, and it's very clear because a lot of these.
Hey, Terry, we're going to talk about it until the cows come home, all right? And there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. And if you don't like it, get this stepping, Jack, all right? You get it. This is a very important subject matter, and we're not tolerating any bullies tonight. If you don't like it, if you don't know, now you know.
People just speak without thinking and post stuff without thinking. But at the end of the day, it just looks really stupid on their page and whatever they're posting on. But it's just sad. Like, people really take the time out of their day to post a bunch of BS lies on a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds who have never done anything to hurt anyone and, loved their friend. Like, I love that man more than anybody. And like, so did all of my friends. And it's absolutely horrible that these people want to come on and push this narrative that we had something to do with this or we killed our best friend. It's just sick to me, Brandon. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, this might be too long, but I have a few things I need to add. First of all, with respect to Warren.
All right, this is their attorney. Okay. All right. So let's see what he has to say.
If you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard, to call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island?
Okay, so let's pause here for a minute. First of all, I want to replay what he just said. Okay, listen to what he says here.
Would be to call the Coast Guard.
Okay, you heard that? Let's go back a little bit more. Okay, pay attention to this part.
First of all, with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
But who did Warren say they called, right? Did they just straight up call the Coast Guard, right? What did we just talk about? What did we just learn in regards to this case, right? The mother said he called someone he knew at the Coast Guard, okay? That's very important. The details really do matter.
To call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did. Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts. He got back and he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you? All right. Now, these are all American young men, incredible young men. And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after the fact. And they did the best they could. And they tried for their dear friend. All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty men. And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent. All right, but that's not the end.
All right, so they're 100% innocent, according to the attorney.
End of it. I'll say this again. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. And you're going to be held accountable. And if you lied about these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to be held accountable.
Did you guys hear that? Right? You hear that?
You're going to be sued. I tell you, there are going to be lawsuits. because we have already identified some of the worst offenders. And it may have felt good for them in the moment, instant gratification, sugar high. They got their sugar high, but long after that sugar high wears off, they're going to find themselves in court, and it's going to be excruciatingly painful. The only thing I can say about that is it won't be quite as painful as what they did to Morgan, Jax, and Warren.
So Ed, I got one question for you, because the way you guys articulate the defamation, obviously, if someone puts out online lies, knowingly and intentionally do them, knowing that they're lies, in part, that's a part of the defamation. But is the racial component, because when someone goes out and says things without evidence, projecting that this was a racial encounter, is that a part of this defamation, or does that not count as far as your tactics on defending them or defending their honor, I guess, in this situation?
Well, one thing that we're never going to do is we're never going to speculate, and we're never going to guess like some other folks who got their sugar highs and are sucking up all the oxygen in the room for now, and they'll have their day in court. But we can talk about what might motivate people. And I won't talk about any particular people because I am not inside their head right now. But I can tell you that racism for profit is a major factor here. And we don't have to name names. But racism for profit, generating outrage for profit, in the end, it's all about money. And we don't even have to think about whether the racism that these people are talking about is real or fake or anything like that. It's racism for profit. And it's part of the motive. But when you have offenders who defame innocent young men, fine innocent young men, upstanding young men, it might be a constellation of motives. Profit, animus, stupidity, ignorance. Maybe they just don't like evidence. See, we really like evidence here. Tyler Cox really likes evidence. I really like evidence. Morgan, Jax, Warren, we really like evidence. And that's the difference between the other guys and us. And we have evidence. We have the receipts. We have the goods. And we're going to be presenting it in court. And I will say, once we present it in court, we're going to say, now you can't leave.
Do you think that the other side, because I've seen through social media that there's a preparation of lawsuits against the boys, is there merit, according to your knowledge in this space, is there merit to pursuing?
All right. So typically the rest of this is in regards to what they're going to do. So we're going to switch up a little bit. I want to show you, we're going to get into the meat of it now. And again, the purpose of the show tonight is to show you that perhaps Nolan never got on the Triton at all. I believe he got on a different boat. So we're going to get into that now. Give me 1 second. I want to try to pull up one other thing. Let's see if I could find it for you guys. Just give me a second. Let's see if we could go back and find this. I want to go back to 16. All right. I'm going to see if I could find this snippet for you guys. Let's see here. All right.
I wish that would have never happened either. And I don't think those would have never happened. A lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother.
Okay, so check this out. I want you guys to process what's happening here. This is the night that Nolan went missing on July the 4th. He talks about Nolan in the past tense. He's talking about Nolan in the past tense while talking to the father. We're going to get a chance to hear it from him again, but also I'm going to show you what the father had to say about it. So listen, imagine you're there. You don't even know what's happened to Nolan. Some say he's out with the girl. And then you go talk to the guy who has his keys and he says, you know, your son was a good guy. Something he was, right? That's the past tense. What does that mean? All right. What does it mean? We really have to dig into this. I'm going to back it up and let you hear it again. Pay close attention. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. This is interesting.
Countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know.
That was my brother. If Nolan is with a girl, right? Wouldn't you say Nolan is my brother? Why would you say that was my brother? The father doesn't know something has happened to Nolan, right? He's talking in the past tense. Check this out.
Know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. Wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story.
I really need you to gather this point because when I make the point of the night, this is going to be very essential to understand it. Okay, so check it out one last time.
That is just blown out of proportion, and the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something. I was like, dude, that was my brother.
See, the night he came over to the house to get the keys, he said, that was my brother. He's talking about Nolan in the past. Like Nolan is gone. The way you talk about a person at a funeral, right? What are we doing, right? What are we doing here, right? If somebody is alive and doing well, you would say, Nolan is my buddy. I don't know where he is. He's probably out with the girl, but he is my brother. He is great. But he told the father, right? Nolan was my brother. What are we doing here? What are we doing, folks? I think we're lost. I think we've lost our way. That's all I can tell you. All right. This is what he was saying. Now, the father picked up on it. We're going to get to it right now. I want you to pay attention. We're tying it all together. Pay attention to what the father has to say in regards to this matter. And he picked up on how this boy was talking about his son in the past tense.
As far as the keys, was that night? Or was it?
That was that night.
That was the night the call. Okay, let me back up. As far as getting the car back, after we gave our report to Jackson County, the sheriff department that night, we were trying to figure out who to get a report to. We had a friend in the family that located his phone. Mm-hmm. We wasn't there to get the phone, but apparently there was some kind of friction with getting his phone. Yeah. We don't know what the friction was.
So the phone and the key were at the same location.
So the father says there was friction getting the phone. That's going to come up as we go further. So keep that thought in mind.
Which was Jack's house.
Okay.
And again, all of these kids share their locations on Snapchat. And so
I want to give you a little history for those that are just coming in. Warren explained that Nolan stayed with Jax the night before. That's why the keys, Nolan's car is outside parked and his keys are on top of the game station or whatever you want to call it, PlayStation, whatever it is. So that night they go back to the house. They find out where Nolan's keys are. The father goes to pick it up. Okay, so we have to tie all of this together. Now pay attention. The father is going to talk about how Jax was talking about his son in the past tense. The night when they were just coming looking for him. They didn't know he was drowned or if something had happened to him. They didn't know what could have happened to him at this point. They just think he's missing somewhere.
She was like, hey, I can go pick his phone up, not thinking that his car is there, you know, which she stopped everything she was doing. Her and the boys, they went out. Like, we were all out searching for him that night. And yeah, like Elmore was saying, there was an issue, some type of friction. The cops ended up coming and they left. And so then kind of the same thing when we came to pick up the key, Elmore went up there asking for the key, didn't know where the key was. And all of a sudden we know where the key is.
But see, hold on. But see, this is another thing that bothered me too. When we got to the house, you know, it was some of his other friends were there, you know, and they were, you know, beating on the door like, what Nolan there, you know, beating on the door trying to get in the house. So I walk up to the door and I'm calming them down. Because for one, okay, you're loud. Two, you're in these people's house. So if you tear these people's house up, that's gonna be a whole nother issue. I don't want y'all bothering it. And three, I need you guys to calm down. And I need them to kind of trust me as being an adult so I can get something out of it. So I get them out the house. And then Jax finally comes down the stairs, I guess in the room. Hair all messed up like he just woke up, whatever. I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. His car's outside. I need to get his car and all his personal effects that may be left over here. And he goes, oh man, Nolan was like my brother. I said, Nolan was like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go and get everything of his so I can get.
So you see that? He said Nolan was like my brother. The father recalled that.
His car, I can go home. So he walks off. 2 or 3 minutes later, he come back. I don't see. Okay, you're loud. Two, you're in these people's house. So if you tear these people's house up, that's gonna be a whole nother issue. I don't want y'all bothering it. And three, I need you guys to calm down. And I need them to kind of trust me as being an adult so I can get something out of it. So I get them out the house. And then Jax finally comes down the stairs, I guess in the room. Hair all messed up like he just woke up, whatever. I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. His car's outside. I need to get his car and all his personal effects that may be left over here. And he goes, oh man, Nolan was like my brother. I said, Nolan was like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go and get everything of his so I can get his car.
Wow, Nolan was like my brother, right?
I can go home. So he walks off. 2 or 3 minutes later, he come back. I don't see the keys. Okay. So I leave out the house, go back outside, stand by the car. During that time, one of the guys that was in the house, one of the other friends, he was on the phone with a girl who was apparently there with them earlier that day. And she was telling him that his keys was on top of the Xbox in his room. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and we're still out by the car. And lo and behold, here comes the keys. So now to me, you lied to me 3 times. I don't believe nothing that you tell me on out.
And this is Jax.
This is Jax.
And eventually he does give you the keys.
Yeah, eventually give me
But
the
there
keys.
was friction getting the keys.
Yes. So for one, you tell me my son is on left still on the island with a girl. 2, you have his phone. And 3, you don't give me the keys when I ask. I don't know any father who would believe just if one of my friends did that. I'm gonna be cordial with you, but I'm gonna watch you. And
Ben, I want to ask you, because I'm hearing these 2 parents who essentially had to become search and rescue or law enforcement, looking for their own.
All right, guys, we have to keep moving. There's just so much to cover, but we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. Now we're going to take a look at one other angle before I show you why we tend to think that Nolan did not get on the Triton. Before we do that, we're going to cover more of what the young men had to say in regards to Nolan. So let's get to it here.
And so there was a conversation that we had, Warren, last time about you not going or ever being at his house, and people took that as if you weren't his friend. Can you guys describe what engagement did you have with Nolan at his house, with his parents, him with your parents? Like, how did all that circulate?
Right, well, like Jack said, like he used to pick up Nolan every day. I used to pick up Nolan every day. My buddy Wyatt used to pick up Nolan. Like literally would pick. We didn't make Nolan drive anywhere.
That's how much we loved him, bro.
Like,
we just always wanted to be.
All right, so this is important to keep in mind. That morning when Nolan stayed with them the night before, Nolan didn't drive. So how did Nolan get to the dock? Right? How did he get there? That's a very important question, because according to Warren, Nolan did not come with them. Okay.
Like that's how much, like everybody knows this too. Like Nolan didn't drive, like especially at least in our friend group, because Nolan, we always pick Nolan up regardless of where it was. Like literally on July 3rd, Nolan rode with me and like rode with me to Wyatt's because we had to get parts for a boat. But anyway, just for, it's crazy that like, I think it's kind of sad that like people, I have some friends of mine that I'm very, very close with, and I just don't know their parents. We're grown men. You don't have to know someone's parents to be close with them. And for someone's like, for, them to come out and be like, oh, well, y'all aren't friends with somebody. Well, how are you going to tell me like my relationship with somebody else? It's crazy. Like they've said this all about us, like, oh, we're fake friends. Well, that's.
See, the fact that Nolan left his car at the house and the keys right on the game station, it goes to show he didn't drive. He had to have rode with somebody, right?
Really horrible to say, because if you go look on every social media post on Nolan's Instagram or Facebook or anything else, the only people in it are us and his football guys. Like that's just so real. Every time Nolan's in Starkville, he's with us. Every time Nolan's anywhere, not even just Starkville, but anywhere.
Oh yeah, we went on countless vacations and
prom, homecoming, everything. Nolan's with us because we were his friends. It's not that hard to understand. I mean, I don't have to prove this to anybody, but that's the truth. I don't have to prove my friendship, and these guys feel the same way. We don't have to prove our friendship with Nolan, but I know it's right.
Yeah. So was Nolan around your family then?
Nolan was always around our houses. I mean, I can even say this: Nolan and Wyatt's dad had a secret friendship that we weren't even in.
Yeah, they were like best friends.
We would go over to Wyatt's house, and Nolan, we would all be in the backyard, whatever, doing something, and Nolan would be inside on the couch with Wyatt's dad, and they would just be cutting it up all night.
Yeah, watching movies together. Like
Scarface is their favorite movie.
Yeah.
They'd watch Scarface
all the time.
But that really shows you like the effect like all this has had on everybody, not including just our friend group, but like our friends' parents and my parents. Like our friends were really, and families were really close with Nolan. And I mean, this has been a horrible tragedy, not just for us, but for our families and friends too. My mom knew Nolan because she used to drive us from Waffle House to school once a week. My stepdad knew Nolan because he used to drive us, my dad, everybody. Like,
and he would always come to the house too all the time.
And not just that, but like I'm talking about like from a young age, like from 8th grade. But Nolan would always be at our houses, stay at our houses. And for his parents to come out and say, oh, well, we don't know these boys. Well, then does that mean you don't know where your kid's staying at night? Because he was staying at our houses. So.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and also join our membership program. Let's get back to the interview. Take me to that day on the 4th. Based on what I know from the interview we had and some of the things that Nolan has spent the night and then at your house.
Okay, so there we have it again. Nolan spent the night at Jack's house, right? The night before, his last night.
And then you guys got up, you went out. Was this the first time you guys went to Horn Island, or you guys used to do this every year? Or?
So we've probably been to Horn Island this year alone 3 times with Nolan. And then the previous year, we went to Horn Island. Nolan was with us out there then. And every time we go out to Horn Island, usually Nolan's with us. And every single year for the 4th of July, when we go out there, Nolan's with us. I mean, this is a tradition. I mean, everybody waits all year for Horn Island, 4th of July. Like, that is the place to be. That is a party.
Guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the hearts. Thank you.
All day. And it is literally right up all of our alleys. Like, that's what we want to do all day. Like, that's the funnest day of the year. And, yeah.
I mean, Nolan was with us 2 weeks prior to the 4th of July at Horn Island with no one out there. If we had any intention to hurt Nolan at the island, why would we do it on the 4th of July with thousands of people out there? I mean, it's pretty clear. We literally all went out there for my buddy's birthday, and Nolan was with a whole group of people like we were with on the 4th. So, I mean, that's
and it was on like a Wednesday.
It's not like
Nobody
this is.
was out
It's
there,
not like this is just like a random like occasion. No,
We've
we
got
do
there
this all the time,
yeah.
and not even just Horn Island, but no one's on the boat with us all the time. We all go on the boat. We all do things together like this. So,
I want to get to some pointed questions about the phone situation, because I think last time, Warren, when you and I talked or spoke, you weren't at the house when the phone was recovered. So I want to figure this out.
Now, keep in mind what we found out about the tension. The father said there was some tension. Notice what the boys say about it.
Explain to me, because a lot of people are still online saying that they find it to be incredibly suspicious that Nolan left his phone. Can you explain, did Nolan ask you for his phone back when you guys were leaving? Was it not a part of the conversation? Was Nolan the only person that left his phone on the boat? Can you guys walk me through that idea?
So I can go ahead first and say nobody has their phone in the water. Even when you jump in a pool, do you have your phone? Like, no, you don't. You're not going to bring your electronic in the water. So what everybody does is they stick their phones on the dash of the boat and they forget about it.
Thank you for sharing this to Facebook, Tracy. Thanks for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it.
Because you don't have good service. You can't even send a picture through from Horn Island to like somebody else. And so they put it on the phone.
Thank you, Keeney.
And even as teenagers, we don't really get on them. We go out there and we conversate and we see a bunch of people that we usually don't see on a day-to-day basis, that we graduated high school with, guys that graduated before us. You know, it's a big meeting, like seeing all your friends that you haven't seen in a while. And so whenever we were coming back,
thank you, writing
back in, he didn't even think about grabbing his phone. He never asked about his phone, along with 5 other people that also left their phones on the boat, and we had to wait at the boat launch for them to come and pick them up, including Javon. I mean, Javon left his phone on our boat.
Yeah, Javon is one of the guys in the friend group.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Javon's a friend of mine, friend of ours, like not as tight as Nolan. Javon's in the class under me in school, and he's a friend of mine. But just like a lot of our other friends.
Javon's mother is the one that came and obtained the phone from the boys in regards to Nolan Wells on behalf of the mother.
Javon's our friend. He left the phone on the boat because we're trustworthy people. We're not going to steal something. We're not going to delete pictures off of someone's phone. We're not going to delete text messages. We're not going to get on anyone's phone because we have no reason to. But Javon left his phone. And we gave Javon his phone back along with everybody else who left their phone on the boat. So
yeah, we'll get to that because I think I have the timeline in my mind. So you guys, the boat is taking in water. You had already left, Morgan, right? You had already left on a boat. So there's 3 boats. You had already left about 5 minutes before this situation happened. The last 2 boats was Bart's boat and Wyatt's boat, and those are the 2 boats that left out.
Okay, so you get an understanding of the boat. I can't say with 100% certainty, but it appears that Morgan left on the Palm Beach, okay? All right. Jax, it appears that he's on Bart's boat. And then Warren, he's going to explain that he left on the Triton. Okay, so that's very important that you understand that layout.
Because
it appears that Jax is on Bart's boat. Keep this in mind. Very important. Warren is going to explain how he left on the Triton, okay?
Bart was kind of towing Wyatt's boat out. So you guys are on the boat. What was the conversation with Nolan? Because Nolan...
All right, so let me go back. I want to explain this to you guys. This is very important to get this whole picture. Okay, right here. So it appears that maybe Morgan's on the Palm Beach, okay? Something they're going to say, I think, alludes to that. But anyway, Jax is on Bart's boat. Keep in mind that Nolan and also Warren, they stayed with Jax the night before, okay? That's a key point. So Warren said he came down with Bart. So we can only imagine that Jax probably rode down with Bart too. Okay. We can't 100% confirm it, but he's definitely riding back with Bart. Okay. So imagine now that Jax, Warren, and Bart come on the boat. Jax and Warren and Nolan stayed together the night before. So you mean to tell me they all didn't ride down on Bart's boat? Now we don't know with 100% certainty, but it would make sense that these individuals came down together on Bart's boat. I'm going to show you that Nolan did not get on the Triton, okay? But anyway, we're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Bart was kind of towing Wyatt's boat out. So you guys are on the boat. What was the conversation with Nolan? Because Nolan obviously had come in on Wyatt's boat. You guys are all getting ready to leave. So what was the communication like with Nolan?
So actually, Wyatt was saying, told.
Okay, so this is a good time for me to show you. You notice he just said Nolan came in on Wyatt's boat. The name of the boat, tell us in the chat, what's the name of the boat, Wyatt's boat, that Nolan allegedly came in on? Tell us in the chat, okay? Let's see if you guys have been really following this case or not. What boat did Nolan ride down on that he says was Wyatt's boat? Let's see if you guys can pull that up, okay? Tell us which boat. Okay, which road? Okay, Herbert has it right. The Triton. Okay, thank you very much. John Mitchell, you should know that. Of all people, you should know. Okay, he came in on the Triton. That's what everybody. Okay, Gold Digger got it right. Okay, I see who's really following this case. So, okay, let's see. Some people are being funny, I guess. All right, the Triton. Okay, so now I'm going to show you this here, and then we're going to get back to this video. Okay. I want to show you that Nolan more than likely did not get on the Triton. The Triton, can somebody here tell us what was the color of the Triton? This, as much as we cover this case, you guys should know this stuff. Okay, so anyway, what was the color of the Triton? I want you guys to tell me in the chat. Let's get to it. I'm going to show you this video. I'm going to show you why I don't think that Nolan got on the Triton, okay? What color was the Triton? Somebody tell us, please. Okay. It was white. Okay. And what color was the top? What was the color of the top that made it very distinctive? The top. What color was the top? The covering on the Triton. As much as we cover this case, everybody should know this really easy. Yes, right. Tracy is on the money. It's blue. Okay. It's blue. All right. So now I'm going to show you guys that Nolan doesn't appear to get on the Triton. Okay. This is very important that you understand that. See, if he doesn't get on the Triton, then it's more than likely that he rode to the island with Bart. Okay. Now we don't know for sure, but I'm going to show you right now. Let's get to it. All right. So now we have. You see, Nolan is walking here. Okay, I have to go back. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. This is the actual dock, okay? And you see the individuals here. They're getting on boats. And then you can see there's a boat under covering here. There's another boat on the other side. I want you guys to notate that. Pretty soon, we're going to see the Triton, the boat right here. See, this is the Triton. You guys notice that? Okay, Tracy, you see that this is the Triton. Let me take this down. I want everybody to be able to grasp what I'm saying, because this is going to be very important. If Nolan did not come in on the Triton boat, then that changes the whole scenario in regards to this case. Let me get to it. Let me take that down. Okay, so this is the Triton here. And we know because it has the blue top. And when you look at it backing up, you can see pretty much it has about 7 people on it. You can see that, right? You can't see clearly, but it seems like an average, okay? Now, I want you to notice the angle that this boat is leaving out. Do you guys see this? Everybody's with me here. The boat is backing up out of the frame, okay? This is going to be very important. No one else has caught this. The boat is backing up. Now listen, you see here in the corner, you notice the boat is backing up. Okay, I want you guys to catch this. Okay, I want you to catch this. You see it's backing up and you can see the brown top here. Okay, you see the brown top, you see this boat backing up. Now watch the next frame. Right there, you see that boat backing up? Put a 1 in the chat if you see the boat backing up. It's basically just switching cameras. Okay, I want you guys to catch this. It's very important that you catch it. You see right here, you see the boat? It's backing out. Okay, so we're going to go to the previous frame. Okay, you see it's backing out. Now you see it goes out of the frame. Oh, I made a boo-boo here. Let's see here. All right, so it's backing out. You see here, now it's in the corner. So put a 1 in the chat. Everybody's with me, right? Well, guess what? That's the Triton boat, guys, that Nolan rode to the island on, right? That's what everybody's saying. Well, how is this Nolan right here walking? Listen, Nolan is getting off another boat. Nolan is still on the dock when the Triton leaves. So what are we doing here? Everybody's giving us misinformation. Let me show you Nolan is still on the island when the Triton leaves. Don't play games with me. Look at Nolan come walking along with the long sleeve shirt and his afro. We're going to call it an afro. There's Nolan right there. He didn't get on that boat. So somebody is not being truthful and honest when it comes to this case. Why do we say he's on the Triton if he's not on the Triton? You can see the time up at the top, so don't play games. You can see the time stamp. Nolan is still on that dock. He did not go to Horn Island on the Triton, it appears. What are we doing? We got all the boats mixed up now. There's a narrative being laid out to hide something, perhaps. We don't know for sure. But there's Nolan right there. I'm going to let you watch Nolan walk on. The boat has already left the dock. I'm going to replay it for you. There's Nolan right there. You see him? And at the end of the day, we never got back his long sleeve shirt. What are we doing? Where's Nolan's long sleeve shirt that he had on that morning with those blue shorts? They found him Monday morning lying in the sand. He did not have that long sleeve shirt on. Where was his sunshades at? What are we doing? The fish didn't eat his shirt off. Okay, so I'm going to replay this. I discovered this today, and I said, wait a minute, this don't seem right. And by the time I put all this together, I started to realize Nolan never got on the Triton. This whole case hinges on Nolan getting on the Triton. Now watch this. This is insane to me. Watch the Triton. This is the Triton backing up. Watch the next frame. You're going to see it in the same frame that Nolan's going to come through walking. What are we doing? Check it out. See the boat backing up here? You see it right here in the corner, right? Now watch Nolan. Nolan is right there as that boat is backing out. Here's Nolan right here. And watch him come walking around. Actually, I hit the wrong part. Sorry about that. Let me go back. Okay, so let me back up here. So here we have it right here. The boat is going to back up. You see it here in the corner. And here's Nolan over here in the same frame. Same exact frame. He's not on that boat. So it's more than likely he rode down with Warren and Bart and Jax. He rode down with them. So then we have to assume he rode back with them. Maybe. And if that's the case, on the police report, we don't have where Bart's boat went after we hear this whole audio deal. Now, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I think you guys get my point now. Nolan is still on the dock when the Triton leaves. Look at Nolan, guys. Probably his last walk on the dock here. This is Nolan right here. Long sleeve shirt. Look at him. Living his best life. Okay? And I don't know why this is acting up. But anyway, we're going to try to get it to work again. So there he goes. There's Nolan right there. That's the actual end of the video, by the way. So, all right. So I think we made that point loud and clear. Nolan doesn't appear to get on the Triton at all. That's a real big issue in regards to this case, okay? This is a real big problem. Nolan did not get on the Triton, it appears. I showed it to you. I shouldn't have to show it to you again. Let's go back now. We're going to go back and finish this off. Now I want you to start putting everything together based on what I just showed you in accordance to what the guys just said, right? Now, we weren't there. We don't know how it happened. But if he didn't get on the Triton, there's only two other boats he could have gotten on, right? The Palm Beach and in Bart's boat, the Tidecraft. Now, keep in mind, Jax, Warren, Nolan stayed together the night before. Warren said he asked Bart to come along from the dock to Horn Island. Why wouldn't they all get on the same boat? So Nolan, more than likely, he didn't get on the Triton. It's very likely he could have gotten on Bart's boat with Warren and Jax, and they rowed to the island. When it's time to leave, see, people throw you off and have you thinking, well, he got back on the boat he came, but they tell you he came on the Triton. But I just showed you he didn't get on the Triton. So it's possible that he did not ride back on that Triton boat. Okay, remember the Bart's boat was towing the Triton. And then I told you when we factor in the audio, it sounds like people that are listening. When you listen to the audio, it seemed like a bunch of people see Nolan for the first time and they're like, oh shit, Nolan. And then somebody's like, is he dead? Like all of these people are seeing Nolan as though maybe he's in the water, maybe he's in another boat, and they're seeing him and they're like, oh shit, Nolan, don't die. Oh, check his chest. You want me to believe they're talking about what they have a pot of gold? They have a chest of gold on the boat? What are we doing here, right? Anyway, I don't want to stay on this too long, but I think you guys get my point. You saw in the video, Nolan did not get on the Triton. That's all you need to know for tonight. Okay? So I think I made my argument. Again, maybe there's more to it, and they're going to come back and say, well, the boat went around the bend and came back and picked them up. All sorts of things can be said, but I want you guys to see this is the video that, again, we thank Officer Tatum for putting this out. He put this out to disprove what we're saying, but all the time it really helps the case because we see Nolan is still on the dock when the Triton pulls off, right? This is a serious matter, folks, but we have to keep moving for now. Let me go back briefly and get this rolling for us here, and we're going to finish this out. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, let me go back. Give me 1 second, guys, and we'll be out of here. Stop screen. Add this here. Give me 1 second. I have a whole lot of screens going here. Here we go. All right. So that was the point for tonight, but we're going to now go back and listen. Now that we know he didn't get on the Triton, now we're going to listen to what they're saying.
Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point.
Guys are all getting ready to leave. So what was the communication like with Nolan?
So actually, Wyatt was saying, told Nolan, because Nolan's with this girl at this point. They're together. Wyatt looked at Nolan. He was like, dude, come on. Boat's taking on water. We got to go. Like right now. And Nolan didn't want to go. He said he wanted to stay with the girl. And Wyatt started yelling at him. He's like, Nolan, get on the boat now. And Nolan's like, no. And then finally, Wyatt's like, Nolan, get on the effing boat right now. We are leaving right now. And Nolan said he had another ride back, and we had no more time to waste. We got to get the boat out of there before it goes under.
And it was that, and when Nolan said that,
That's
like, was there?
That's right, free thinker. That's right, absolutely. See, that's just throwing you off. So now you're looking in the Triton. Oh, the Triton. Oh, where's Nolan in the Triton? Nolan never rode the Triton that day. So see, when you mention the Triton, people stop looking at the other boats. Now, keep this in mind. I went through the police report, right? In the police report, I showed you the Palm Beach is not even mentioned at all. Okay, not mentioned at all. And then the second boat, which would be Bart's boat, the Tidecraft, Okay. And again, we're not accusing anybody of anything. We're just talking about, people, places, and things for this case. But they don't give us the GPS for Bart's boat on that police report. What they did was they doubled up the Triton. So now you mean to tell me the police report conveniently made a mistake and doubled up the report for the Triton? And they don't give us the GPS tracking for Bart's boat that day? What a coincidence, right? So now, after all this happened, we have the audio, all of these things are happening. You can't go to the second boat there and say, well, that boat trailed with them. Now, these guys are going to tell us what happened right after that. That's why I'm going to play this for you. But I'm trying to lay this out for you in so many different words. And I hope you can catch what I'm putting down. All right. Thank you.
An issue that you believe that Nolan will be able to get back, or were you concerned?
So
explain that.
what I can say is I've been out countless times on one boat to Horn Island and came back on another. I've done it before where I went out on one boat and my friends left, and I just know so many people out there. I didn't even think about, do I have a ride already set up? I just know so many people out there that I'm like, okay, there's 100% sure I can find a ride back, and which I have before, And it's one of those things where it's at Horn Island, you don't even have to know somebody to ask for a ride back in. They're going to bring you in. It's not like, oh, are they going to bring me in or are they not? Should I ask? No, if you ask anybody out there, 100%, they'll bring you back.
Southern
in.
hospitality.
Yeah, the
South Mississippi.
I mean, we had somebody.
The boating community is so tight knit. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If someone sees you struggling on the island, no matter the case, they will come and help you. They will do anything in their power to help you and bring you back to the mainland.
I'll put another example out there. We know another kid who was pretty intoxicated out there, and he couldn't find his boat. And he asked somebody random that he didn't even know if he could catch a ride back with them. And they were like, yeah, got him on the boat, called his parents, told them the situation was going on, and then took him back on inshore.
And that happened this time, or is
4th of July? This 4th of July.
This current 4th.
So you guys you leave. Nolan is there. I'm based on what you're telling me, I'm perceiving that you guys are accepting that Nolan's going to get a.
Okay, guys. So this is the photo that came out. I cannot confirm this 100%, but this is allegedly when they were out, and Bart would be the black boat, and the white boat would be the Triton. And this is at the point when, if you remember, Warren said that Bart and the black boat had towed them out 1/4 of a mile. So this is when they were gathered together. I think in one of the recordings, you could hear Warren say that Bart had turned his boat around sideways to line up with him and so forth and so on. So this is synonymous with what we've been hearing. But this is what we want to focus on, right? Here's the idea. So let's say now, according to the guys, there's eyewitnesses at 6 o'clock that placed Nolan on the shore. Okay, if that's the case, then the audio is out the window. Let's be clear about that, okay? If somebody can show that Nolan was actually there, we haven't had that luxury yet. But keep in mind what I told you. We see in the video, Nolan doesn't get on this white boat, the Triton, coming down, okay? So there's only 2 other boats he could have gotten on. The guys that he stayed with the night before got on Bart's boat. They tell you that, okay? Okay. They tell you that. So what boat do you think Nolan got on? So if Nolan rode down, we don't know for sure, but if he rode down on Bart's boat, at the end of the day, what boat does he get back on? Okay. Now, his Bart's boat is towing the Triton. Okay. So at some point, the 2 boats come together. If you listen to Warren, he explains how Bart's boat is pulling them. They come together, and that's where people are starting to speculate or wonder, did people see something in the other boat and say, oh shit, Nolan? See in the video, in the pictures that we get, we only see the Triton. But we don't get a chance to see the other boats, okay? We don't know what happened. Let's make it very clear. We're just asking questions and looking at this with a critical point of view. But this gives you an idea of the layout of the day. I hope this helps you in some way to understand this case at a higher level. I know a lot of people are very interested in this case. I know I am. And we do a lot of work in trying to figure out what happened to Nolan. It's a very important question indeed. Let's get back to this video.
Explain to the audience, what does this sinking boat thing like? Because I think that people are.
This is where you have to pay attention. Now this is where the rubber meets the road.
In good faith, the ones who are acting in good faith are genuinely curious of like, are you sinking? Do you think you're gonna sink? Because you hear Wyatt on the phone and he's like, we're sinking, we're going down. And obviously you never went down. So can you explain what he was saying?
Wyatt is on the white boat. He's on the Triton, okay? And our argument is that Nolan never got on the Triton. You see it in the video, right? I showed it to you.
About going down. Was there a little bit of water? Was he just panicking more than normal? Or like, what was that? And I want you to explain too, like, what happened to the boat? How did you recover the boat? And how did you get back to the mainland?
So I'm going to go ahead and first off explain a boat. So a bilge pump is in the bilge. The bilge is underneath the deck where you stand in the very bottom of the boat. And there's a space in there where you have all your electronics, your batteries, everything that controls everything throughout the whole boat. So the first thing that fills up on a boat when it starts to sink is the bilge. And it goes in the bilge and it starts filling up. Well, then the bilge pump kicks on, senses.
So the bilge is like a little subfloor. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Remember in the call, the lady says, does the water come up to your ankles? The boy couldn't answer, right? He couldn't answer. She's like, how high is the water? Is it to your ankles? He's like, he don't know, right?
The water automatically, it starts pumping it out. In this situation, the bilge pump had a malfunction. It didn't kick on. And it got all the way to the very top of the bilge, which is the floor level. And then we started to see the boat actually sag down in the water. And we're like, okay, what's going on? So there's a cap in the back of the boat that you can unscrew and look inside the bilge. When we unscrewed it, there's so much water in the boat, it started overflowing onto the deck. And so at this point, we're like, okay, this boat's going down. It's going down quick. We don't know where the water's coming in from. We don't know what's going on. And we just go into full on like panic mode, get this thing out of here now. So we hook up the boats.
No, call Cito.
Okay.
Let's get to that part. Because you called Cito first?
No,
or you had the boats hooked up first?
We had the boats hooked up first.
Yeah. Okay.
So we hook up the boats and we start towing them out. And he's on the phone with Cito. Because, hold on, let me go back a second. The electronics completely glitched out. Nothing is working on the boat. There's so much water in there. Nothing is working.
The batteries are also.
So guys, they were towed out a quarter of a mile. Then they commenced to calling Cito. So at that distance from the shore, there's no way you could communicate with Nolan, saying Nolan anything because he's so far away. All right. Try to go outside right now and try yelling at your neighbor that's a half a mile away. Good luck with that, right? People want you to believe, oh yeah, the shore is just right there, a quarter of a mile. You could just yell at somebody, hey, come over here, buddy. Have you lost your mind? A quarter of a mile is a quarter of a mile. All right. We're not buying that part of it.
So
the batteries are completely underwater. Like they're yeah. Everything's fried basically. So we have it connected, kind of towing them out. And he's on the phone with Cito and he's trying to get them on the phone. And as he stated in the moment, he's like, Cito's just asking all these dumb questions. I can't like figure out what's going on. And so finally hangs up. And
do you recall hearing that on the call? Cito was recording, right? Do you hear that part? He says he makes those statements, then he hangs up. Do you hear that on the Cito call, folks?
And after the trim to the motor started to work again. So they manually trim it down by the buttons on the motor, trimmed it down, and some electronics started to come back on. And they got the boat to crank over, and they're like, all right, untie us, because if you can get a boat on plane, the suction of the water going underneath it will actually pull all the water out of the bilge if you have the plug out. So like say you have the plug out and it's sitting, the boat will sink. If you have the plug out and you're running, all the water will rush out the back of the boat.
When you say on plane, you mean like it has to be going fast enough to be up
out
on top of the water?
Yep.
Or
So
like
on
that?
plane is
We're gonna have to listen to the CETO call, because the way the call plays out, like Grandpa is calling simultaneously, right? Because think about it. They carry out the call with Wyatt, then it's basically a switch over, and then they're trying to switch back, right? So how did Grandpa get to make this call? It sounds something's off. I don't know.
you're up, you're running, you're out of the water. Basically, there's
Your bows on plane.
yeah. So you're up out of the water running.
Yep.
So
where are you guys at when this happens? As far as from Horn Island to the mainland, where are you guys at in between there?
So we're probably a mile and a half off of Horn, I'd say, a mile off Horn.
From the start where the CETO call was, we were probably about a quarter mile off the
All right, so they were a quarter of a mile out when they started the CETO call. All right.
island. Like you could see, it's visible in the picture that you posted that Wyatt is on the CETO call, and it's that video of the boat panning, of the video of the boat getting panned, and you can see everybody in the boat. If you look in the background, the island's right there. So I mean,
All right, guys, you know how I do it. I got to show it to you, right? So I'm sorry, but I'm going to show it to you. Just give me 1 second to try to pull it up for you. Let me find that video. We might as well. We've been showing everything else. So let me find that video so you can see what he's talking about. I think I agree with that, what he's saying there. Let's see if I could find it. Maybe not. Let's see. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Let's see if I could find it. Here we go. All right, here's a video.
I was given this video, and here's a video of the actual boat.
So look how far the land is behind the boat. Check this out. Are you yelling back at somebody that far? Come on now. Guys, are you yelling? Look behind them at the boats.
As they're getting towed out, do you see Nolan on this boat whatsoever?
You mean to tell me you could yell back that far? Look at that, right? You could yell back that far. You mean somebody back on those white boats way back there, they can hear what you're saying? This has got to be, oh my God, somebody help me here, right? Can you? Somebody put a 1 in the chat if you think you can yell from this boat. You see in the background those white boats, and the land is beyond that. Tell me if you think somebody can yell that far and the person on land's going to hear you. All right. Somebody put a 1 in the chat if you think so. If not, put a 2. Put a 2 if you don't think so. Put a 1 if you think so. Let's see what you guys have to say about this. All right. But listen to them along the way. Oh, actually, I need to put this back. So anyway, I'm going to let this play real quick.
Now, and here's a video of the actual boat as they're.
All right, so guys are saying not at all. I get it. I understand. But anyway, we take a look at it. Let's get back to this real quick, and we'll be out of here.
you said earlier, if we killed somebody or hurt somebody, the whole island is literally not even a quarter of a mile away to see.
You hear what he said, right? If you kill somebody, the people back there in the white boats are going to see it, bro. What are we doing? Oh, my God. He's saying the people back on those boats and those white boats are going to be able to know what you're doing at this distance. You heard the words. I got to go back. We might have to call it quits right after this. I think I made my point for the night. Check this out. Now that you've seen the video, okay? Check this out. Check this out.
You mean like it has to be going fast enough to be up on top of the water?
Yep.
Or
So
like
on
that?
plane is you're up, you're running, you're out of the water. Basically, there's
Really not even a quarter of a mile away to see what video of the boat.
say a mile off
From
Horn.
the start where the CETO call was, we were probably about a quarter mile off the island. Like you could see, it's visible in the picture that you posted that Wyatt is on the CETO call, and it's that video of the boat panning, of the video of the boat getting panned, and You'd see everybody in the boat.
Guys, like, share, subscribe to the channel. This is what we do. Hit the hearts, please. Thank you.
If you look in the background, the island's right there. So, I mean, going back to like what you said earlier, if we killed somebody or hurt somebody, the whole island is literally not even a quarter of a mile away to sea, with hundreds of boats lined up on the island. So that's really all I had to say about that.
Yeah. So we
were about a quarter mile out.
So we're about a quarter mile out, whatever. So they pull the plug out the back of the boat. They have the motor running and everything like that, and they go to take off. So the boat's having trouble trying to get up, and it's slowly coming up because the weight of the water.
All right, so there's two boats there, right? This is how we know Jax is on Bart's boat. He's telling you what the other boat does. He's not on the Triton. Listen to what he's saying. This is how we know Jax is on Bart's boat. There's two boats there, right? He's going to describe the Triton taking off, but he remains on Bart's boat. Check it out.
All I had to say about that.
Yeah. So we
were about a quarter mile out.
So we're about a quarter mile out, whatever. So they pull the plug out the back of the boat. They have the motor running and everything like that, and they go to take off.
They go to take off. You hear that? They go to take off, right? Not him, okay?
So the boat's having trouble trying to get up, and it's slowly coming up because the weight of the water. Finally, it planes off, and the water gets sucked out the back, and they're full speed running. And then after that, I didn't see them anymore.
See, he didn't see them anymore because he's on Bart's boat. He's on Bart's boat. See, now we get all these stories come together. All right, they come together just like magic, right?
You were on the boat. You start from there.
Yeah. So after we planed off, Wyatt kept the boat.
Remedy, we really do this over here, right?
And the whole way in, we
oh my God,
we ran into the mouth of Fort Bayou, where we came from originally, and we turned into Fort Bayou, went in the channel.
Now, according to the GPS, they didn't do that. They went straight to the dock. So what he's saying now that the Triton did is not on the GPS. The GPS tracked everything. It told you the time they were towed away from the dock, but the GPS doesn't show you anything that he's saying right now. And you know what else the GPS doesn't show you? It doesn't show you where Bart's boat went after they called Cito. And guess what? The Palm Beach is not mentioned on the police report at all. What are we doing here, right? You get my drift, right? You see what's happening?
Ran probably 500, 600 yards into Fort Bayou.
Not on the GPS.
Wyatt had jumped out of the boat, put the plug back in the boat, so access water. So water didn't keep pushing and filling the boat up. So then we turned around, and Wyatt brought the boat to the dock, and that's when I had gotten out and got back in the car. And I didn't drive. A buddy of mine drove me, and we went back to Jackson.
So now he had another buddy drive him back. Another buddy. He didn't even drive. He had a buddy drive him.
His house.
Jackson's house. Okay, so
now let's make it clear. There's no suspects in this case. There's no people of interest. None of that. We're just comparing notes and just having a discussion. We're not accusing anybody of anything.
I just want to make this very clear and abundantly clear for the audience. Are you saying that the video that I posted, which was like a 3-second loop, now I have a lot.
That's the video I just showed you guys.
More of the video, but to not expose people that have nothing to do with this, I only posted the smaller part, the 3-second part.
If you guys think we deal with facts over here and not private speculation and a whole lot of bullshit, put a 1 in the chat, right? And I'll keep going. Okay? I'll keep doing this type of research. All right? Put a 1 in the chat. Be honest about it. But if you think that we follow, what's publicly available, not making up stuff and just coming up with bizarre stories just to get a click, but if we Drop some serious information over here. I want you guys to put ones in the chat, right? Right? And guess what, guys? I got something to tell you. You want to hear a little secret? Nolan didn't get on the Triton. Nolan didn't get on the Triton. We've been riding around looking for the Triton all day. Guess what? Nolan did not get on the Triton. I showed you in the video. See, people didn't realize it, but today I was looking at the video. I was looking for Nolan, and I found Nolan. And guess what? Nolan wasn't on the Triton when it pulled off. I was looking for a black fella. Yeah, with an afro, something like that. I didn't see it. Guess where he was? He was walking on the dock. He can't be in two places at one time. There's a reason why we're being told that he was on the Triton. Figure it out. Because see, if you figure he came down on the Triton, at the end of the day, you're going to expect him to leave on the Triton. But if he came on the black boat, then he probably left on the black boat. See what I mean? See, that's a different scenario. Now, we don't know. We weren't there. But I'm just saying we could look at what's given and come to a reasonable conclusion about some things, right? Right. So if he left on the black boat, then this whole story changes. Oh my heavens, what's happening, folks? Lord have mercy on my soul. You follow what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep going. We're going to finish up in a few minutes.
Are you saying during that time, a portion of that, Wyatt was on the phone with Cito, so a portion of that is the Cito call, and that Nolan is not on that boat?
Correct.
And that video that's out there is a representation of who was on the boat during that Cito call.
Correct.
So I want to jump back to something real quick because.
So guys, I'm going to jump back to Officer Tatum. He kind of encouraged me to jump back too. So I'm going to show you that video one more time, and we're going to have to get out of here. I've been well over my time, but let's get back to it really quick. I want to show you that Nolan did not get on the Triton. I think it's very important that we understand that. And I guarantee you, nobody else is talking that talk and figuring that out. Okay. Oh man, the heat is on. Oh my. All right. So anyway, I'm going to show you now. He did not get on the Triton. Okay. You can take it how you want to, but let's get to it really quick. Let me show you. Nolan did not get on the Triton real quick, guys. Here we go, right here. Check this out. All right, here's the video. You can see the dock. This is the morning. This is the house that they're leaving from. Okay. You're going to see the Triton boat right now. This is the Triton, okay? It has the teal green, we'll call it top, blue top. Okay, you guys are with me? Now, the frame is going to switch. I want you to keep your eyes on the prize. Look at this brown cover here. All right. Okay. Look at this. Now, when the frame changes, you're still going to see in the corner, you're going to see the Triton backing up. Watch this. It's going to back up. Look, right there. You see it backing up. It's right here in this slither. Watch it's consistently backing up. Look at there. Boom. You see it's backing out? You can even see the water. You can see the water, right? Well, guess what? Look at Nolan walking on the dock. Look, here's Nolan in the same frame. Here's Nolan right here walking as the Triton has left the dock, folks. What are we doing? What are we doing, right? Nolan. I'm going to show you one last time. Nolan did not get on that boat. Look, there it's gone. It has fully loaded with passengers. 3 people I could see in the very front of the boat. It's backing out, though. Watch this. It's leaving. That boat is leaving. Look, in the corner, you see it still backing out. All the camera did was pan. Look at there. Now look at Nolan come walking through. This is probably our last clear walk of him. Look at Nolan right here. He has on a long sleeve shirt and his blue shorts and his afro, whatever you want to call it. I guess the young boys call it twist. I don't know. It's out of my league. But anyway, there you have it, folks. No need to keep going on about that. So take it how you want it. Okay. But that tells you a lot about this whole case now. And I'm going to leave it at that. Again, there's no suspects. There's nothing of the sort, I would imagine, but it is what it is, folks. All right, let's get back to this really quick, and we're going to be out of here. It's been a long day. I want to play a little bit more, and you're going to see how the story comes together.
I was on the island, and the reception was bad. I left my phone on the boat when I got out and went in the water. But people are saying online that how can you make a CETO call if the reception is so bad on the island? Because before you said the reception wasn't really good enough to even send a picture message to somebody else. So how is this call being made if the reception is not as good?
I mean, if you listen to the call back, listen to the call back. I mean, there's areas in the call where it's splotchy. It's not direct. Like, it's not like you're sitting from me to you talking to the person on the phone. I mean, you're obviously out on the water. I mean, you can hear it in the CETO call.
And so when it comes to the reception, because I didn't look at my phone one time on the way out to Horn Island. I mean, it was a beautiful ride.
Of course, because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking. I'm looking at how beautiful this water is. Right. We were having fun on the boat. We were playing music, some of Nolan's favorite songs.
Yeah.
So I wasn't thinking about my phone. So I wasn't checking reception. Now, is the reception recover at some point between Horn and the mainland? Or is it terrible reception while you're over the water?
Remember what the mother and father said about the reception, right?
Until you get to the mainland.
I mean, as soon as you get off the island coming in shore.
Yeah, but there's really like no definite way to tell where the reception comes in, because I mean it's all satellite. I mean,
yeah,
it's different I've gotten service 80 miles offshore, like off of a satellite coming to a oil rig.
Yeah,
and I connected to it from the rig. But like,
it just depends.
I could go to Horn Island and not have any service. I could go there and have service. I mean, I think it's truly different, like every time.
So is it fair to say the service on Horn Island is super spotty?
Yes. Yeah.
And it was just almost by chance, in part, that the call was successful to call CETO. Okay.
Yeah. Partly, yeah.
And I want to get to that picture, because I think a lot of people are confused about the picture. You guys cleared this up for me last time I came, but I want the world to kind of hear this, because I don't think I addressed it last time me and you, Warren, was on the interview. People are saying, and this is how the picture went viral, that the people pictured in the photo were the ones that went on a boat with Nolan and came back. Can you explain that? Because I don't think everybody that was in that picture even went to Horn Island on the same boat as Nolan.
So I can say, whenever we all got out there,
hold on, before you get there, because I think this will address another issue that people have of saying, well, why are they taking pictures if the reception is bad? Can you point out where this picture took place? What is going on with this infamous picture now?
Yep. So whenever we got there, like I said, I wasn't even on the same boat as Nolan. We pull our boat in. Nolan, their boat pulls everyone.
Okay, so according to him, he was not on the same boat as Nolan. Okay, he made that clear.
Whenever I get out in the water, I walk over to Nolan's boat, and I'm talking to Nolan for a little bit, whatever, and I put my phone up on the dash. Nolan puts his up there. As Nolan's putting his phone on the dash, he sees an actual little camera that one of the girls that came on the boat brought. And his first words was, he picks up the camera and he goes, "We got to take a picture." Just like that. And in my mind, I'm like, heck yeah, like let's take this picture. So that's where you got me and Nolan and one picture. And then as we're taking that picture, Morgan and another buddy of ours come up and they're like, all right, like let's take a picture all together of us on the front of the boat. We're like, all right, yeah, let's do that. So we got on the front of the boat, and that's where that picture is taken.
So that was it taken from a phone or
no, like an actual little camera.
Camera.
Okay.
Like,
and was it taken from where you docked at, or was it taken out there at Horn Island?
It was taken out at Horn Island.
Okay. So, but wasn't on the phone?
No.
Hey, I want to clear this up too, because I'm not aware of this. You guys may obviously have more information.
So they took a picture with a random phone, camera. That's something.
People uploading, I know we talked about the service issue, but were people uploading onto social media?
I mean, you could.
Not
This
really,
thing,
though.
You could be.
Realistically, you could.
You could if you want to
You
sit.
could.
If you're motivated enough to do it, yeah. Like I made a phone call to my mom, and I had to call her like 8 times before she picked up because either her service was bad, she was on the back side of the aisle on the south side, or my service was bad, and it was just hard to get through. But like if I went and posted a video on Snapchat, like honestly, I don't think it would like either post or send to somebody. I think I sent my buddy where we were at, a buddy of mine. I was like, hey, come meet us. And I sent him a video and he was like, dude, I couldn't get a hold of you all day. And like that explains the point. Like I sent him a video where we were at and it never sent until I got inshore because I had no service.
Would it shock you? Because Christine Wells, Nolan's mother, is online. She was very shocked that she said Nolan didn't have any Snapchats or something. I'm assuming that whole day. Is that shocking to you if he did or did not have photos or videos or stuff uploaded to social?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Because
I mean,
like we said, we've been out there many times before, and nobody's on their phone out there. First off, and then second off, if you want to take Snapchats and stuff like that, you can, but you're just really going to have to save them to your camera roll and upload them back whenever you get insured, because when you go to send it, it's just going to have an error.
And most guys, when they're out on the island all day, they're really not thinking about posting something on their Snapchat story.
So the phone was taken on like a camera that's not a phone. Yeah. Now, how did that get to you guys, and how did that ended up getting to the internet?
So whenever we first realized that Nolan didn't, I'm not gonna say he didn't. When we first realized we don't know where Nolan's at, the first thing we were trying to figure out, or his mom was, what was he wearing? And so we were trying to remember what color his shorts were. We couldn't quite figure that out.
I said black.
Yeah, I think we said black.
I really did. He was wearing navy blue shorts.
Yeah, it was like dark blue shorts.
Dark. I just said black because I was trying to piece everything together and help out.
And so at this point, we're freaking out. We don't know where our friend's at. And the girl that took the picture, she was like, okay, well, I just took this picture of today. This is what color swim trunks he was wearing. And his mom asked for that to post on Facebook to say, if you've seen him, whatever, this is what he was wearing. And so that's what we sent to her, or that's what she sent to her, because we were just trying to help. You know, we weren't trying to cover up anything. We wanted to know where our friend was just as bad as everybody else does. I mean, that was our boy. We want to know worse.
So they were not trying to cover anything up, guys?
Than everybody else does. And so that's how that picture came about.
And I want to get to the phone situation of Miss Christine, or Miss Wells said online, and I've seen it on the news and everything, as if she had to come and hunt you down to get this phone. Now, I know, Warren, you weren't at the house, and so you weren't there when they came to get the phone and all that. So how did this happen? Because last time we talked, you said you told, and I will call her Miss Christine, you told Christine that you had Nolan's phone. Like, can you explain that to me? Because I'm confused. I don't know what's what. Did you tell her you had the phone? And when did you tell her you had the phone if you did?
Okay. So first we'll start off with, what I have to say, and then Jax. But
Okay, guys, before we do this, okay, I want you guys to come to your own conclusion. We're going to do a project right here. On the way back, right? Nolan's phone, allegedly, according to the guys, is on the Triton. Okay, we're going to go with that. Okay, it's on the Triton because that's the boat that he rode in on. That's what they say. So Jack's ride back on the black boat, which is the Tide Line or Tide Craft, owned by Bart. According to Warren, he rides back on the Triton. So you have to keep this in mind. Nolan's phone is on the Triton, according to what they're telling us now. Now, I want you to listen to the story. This fella here, I think he went back on the Palm Beach, which left early, okay, with 3 guys on it. So as they tell this next story, I want you to pay attention. The phone is on his boat, the Triton, okay? But the father gets the phone from, they ask to pick up the phone, right? They get the keys from Jax, right? So let's check it out.
And if Morgan has something to say, but I want to get this straight. One of the first things I told Miss Christine Wells in the first phone call that ever occurred with anything to do with Nolan Wells being gone, because I was the first person to call Miss Christine about anything. First phone call and anything to do with Nolan Wells was me making a phone call to Christine Wells. And
I already showed you how that played out with her calling Nolan's phone all the way to 10:48. Then he calls her at 11:07. Okay.
one of the first things I said to her, with multiple witnesses here, pull up the phone call if you want. She said, oh, well, Nolan's location is with y'all at, where the house we were at. And I was like, well, no, he left his phone with us. I told her this. She knew for a fact that we had his phone. And she knew that I told her, I said, yeah, he left it on the boat with us.
All right, the free thinker. I want everybody to come to this conclusion, but I see you're already on it. Okay.
A bunch of people did. And so I want to make that very clear that I told Miss Christine there was no reason to hide anything. There was no issue regarding the cell phone. She could have came and picked it up, but instead she sent one of her friends to come pick it up. And that's where these things start to get twisted. But no, there was never an issue with the phone. I told Miss Christine, one of the first things I told her was, we have Nolan's phone, and that's where that ends. There was no issues with the phone or the keys. So I wanted to make that clear.
So was the keys on the boat with the phone?
No, the keys were
They're at my house.
at Jax's house.
Okay.
Because we all stayed there the night before. I'm sure if I would have left my truck at Jax's house, I would have left my keys there too.
All right, so far so good. The keys are at Jack's home. Okay.
It's just one more thing to think about on the boat.
If I don't have my car or my truck, then why would I bring my keys on the boat? So I mean, there's just no point of bringing it, because if I lose them, then just more stuff to bring that I don't get very excited.
So I want you guys to explain this phone thing. I think Warren already addressed the fact that he told Christine that he had the phone in his possession. So, the whole Life 360 thing is not adding up as far as what
Okay, so Warren had the phone in his possession.
you're saying to me compared to what they're saying. Now, how did whoever came and get the phone, how did they get in touch with you guys, and how did they get the phone back?
So I got a call from a kid we went to high school with. He called me just asking me questions. He saw people posting on Snapchat, like the picture that was circulating. And he called and he was asking questions. He was like, where's Nolan? When's the last time y'all seen him? And then he was like, so where are y'all at? And I told him, I said, we're at Jax's house. And then Warren got on the phone, and I don't know.
So they come to my house, right? And they kind of
hold on before we get there. Was it confrontational or was it just, trying to find? It was confrontational.
Yeah,
already?
wouldn't y'all agree? Yeah,
he was
110%.
So they're all at Jack's house. Where's the phone at?
It was very
confrontational.
And when did this happen? Was
really
this on the night of the 4th or the next day?
This was the night when this was before they came and got the phone.
So this is the night of the 4th, yes.
So you had already spoke to Christine.
correct.
And then you get a call that was hostile.
Yeah, and then Morgan handed the phone over to me. I was like, oh, let me talk to him, because I knew the guy. And I was just like, hey, he was like, where y'all at? I was like, we're at Jackson's house. It's like calm down. And then he hung up on me, and then.
Okay, so they come, they pull up to my house. And at this point, I'm kind of freaking out. We're all trying to put our heads together on where Nolan is.
Okay, they're trying to put their heads together on where Nolan is. Check all this out. This is where it gets really deep, and then we're out of here.
And I kind of isolate myself in my room, just kind of.
He isolates himself in the room.
Getting a ball and just.
Getting a ball.
Just lose it, kind of basically for a few.
And he loses it. Okay, listen to this. Listen to this. This is interesting. He's concerned about Nolan. So.
And he called and he was asking questions. He was like, where's Nolan? When's the last time y'all seen him? And then he was like, so where are y'all at? And I told him, I said, we're at Jax's house. And then Warren got on the phone, And I don't know.
So
Remember, Jax was the one speaking about Nolan in the past tense, right? We're not accusing Jax of anything, by the way. Let's make it very clear. But he was in a ball, crying. You know, he was losing it. Listen to this.
so they come to my house, right? And they kind of
Hold on, before we get there. Was it confrontational or was it just
most
just trying to
definitely.
find?
Most
It was
definitely.
confrontational
Yeah,
already.
wouldn't y'all agree?
Yeah,
So
he was like
110%.
he was very
confrontational.
And when did this happen?
hostile.
Was
Yeah, it
this
was really
this on the
hostile.
night of the 4th or the
Yes,
next
this
day?
was the night when this was before they came and got the phone.
So this is the night of the 4th, yes.
He was
So you had already spoke to Christine,
correct.
and then you get a call that was hostile.
Yeah, and then Morgan handed the phone over to me. When I was like, "Oh, let me talk to him," because I knew the guy, and I was just like, "Hey, like," he was like, "Where y'all at? Where y'all at?" I was like, "We're at Jackson's house." You know, it's like calm down. And then he hung up on me, and then
Okay, so they pull up to my house, and at this point, I'm kind of freaking out. We're all trying to put our heads together on where Nolan is, and I kind of like isolate myself in my room, just kind of get in a ball and just lose it, kind of basically for a few hours. And they
Remember that song by Brandy, Sitting Up in My Room?
just walk into my house, you know, and I hear all this commotion going on in my living room, and I'm just like, what in the world is going on? So I walk out there. There's probably like 10, 15 people in my house I don't even know, and they're all up in our faces, going crazy, asking where Nolan is, and we don't know. And finally, they get into Wyatt's face, and they're like, "Where's your boat? Where's the boat at?"
Demanding his address.
Demanding his address and stuff like that. And he finally ends up giving it to him. And then at that, let me go ahead and
Now, the boat is probably at Wyatt's grandfather's home. Okay, keep this in mind, possibly. Okay.
state that while they're there, we give them the phone. They have the phone at this point. Then they get the address to his house. Then they go to his house.
So they obtained the phone from Jack's home. Okay, that's important. And also the keys with 2 separate visits. Okay, keep this in mind.
And they're searching all over his boat, what I heard and stuff like that. Well, anyways, I don't really know much about that, but they come back to my house at around 1:00 in the morning, and it's his dad this time, and his dad's being really respectable, really.
Imagine you had like 12 people that just come barging through the door. You know what I'm saying? At 1:00 in the morning, right?
Nice to me and stuff like that. And as long as another friend of theirs, and he's asking me like, where are the keys at? I don't even know where Nolan's keys are at in my house. You know how hard it is to find a set of keys in a house and you don't even know where to start? It's pretty hard. So I start scrambling around my house looking. There's stuff everywhere. Keep in mind, all these people stayed the night at my house before. I'm looking through everything. I can't find the keys. I run back to his father or his stepfather. And I was like, I don't know where the keys are. And the guy standing next to him's texting somebody. I guess I was at my house.
The father said it was a girl, right? The girl knew where the keys were.
And he said that they're on the Xbox. So I run in, I see him on the Xbox, grab him off the Xbox, and I go and hand it to him. It's plain and simple. Didn't even take 30 seconds.
No trouble.
No trouble at all. So
this narrative that they're pushing that there was any argument over the phone or the keys is completely false. Like, let's get that clear.
yeah.
Okay.
So they just kind of hang around my house, taking pictures of all the cars' license plate in the driveway, stuff like that.
Whew, Lord have mercy. They out at night. They mean business, whoever these people are.
And so
When you say they, how many people are here this time?
like 15.
15 people. Mean business. Wow.
15 people that you don't know?
They had 4 or 5 vehicles.
I mean, I knew some of them. I
of
went to high school
Dressed in all black like the army, right?
with,
No, not that case. Hopefully not.
and then some of them I just didn't know.
Now, walk me through this. How do you think it got to this point so fast? That's one thing that I'm curious about. Like, you
Jumping to conclusion.
I guess so. I mean,
That's plain and simple.
They went and searched Wyatt's boat.
Yeah, they went and searched White's boat.
Like
like
we
we're
were
hiding
like
them in
hiding
there or something.
Nolan
Sounds like that's not all they're gonna jump to, right?
in his boat or something. Like, what is wrong with
Yeah.
him? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
We called law enforcement. I was with Wyatt at the time after we left.
What's wrong with them? Nolan is missing. That's what's wrong with them. They looking for cuz and son and brother and everything else.
Left Jackson's house that night. I was with Wyatt, and we one person we were with saw that their location was actually headed towards Wyatt's house, and
So check this out. This is where it gets interesting. They're tracking Nolan's phone after the phone was picked up because Nolan would share his location by means of Snapchat with one of the boys. So they're actually following on Snapchat. Probably one way or another, they're tracking this phone after it's picked up, and they can see that these 14, 15 people are on a mission looking for Nolan, and they can see every place they're going. This is interesting.
so Wyatt got on the phone with 911 and was like, "Hey, these people are
Then they saw where they were going. It was like, we got to call the police, right? We got to get the popos involved.
on the way to my house or already at my house."
Remember, see, I don't want to get too deep into this, right? I don't want to get myself into too much. Remember, the police went to somebody's house that night. So now you start to see why, because they had to set up some barriers because these people were about to get, they were on a mission looking for Nolan. Imagine any mother looking for their kid. That's the worst thing in the world. You can't even cool her down. You know what I mean? Think about that. The father, and then you got another, 13 people too on your head? You got to call the police. That's why the police had to go to different people's homes that night. I'll leave it there. If you know, you know.
My mom and my dad are there alone, and they know nothing about this. But Wyatt's mom actually, when they were looking at the boat, they were actually walking from the boat, and she came out and started talking to them at that point.
But did police get involved in some degree here?
Yes, that's what I'm about to get into. So whenever they were at my house hanging out, just, I guess, hanging out in my front yard, finally they wouldn't leave. And one of the people,
they want Nolan. They're not leaving until they get Nolan. Guys, hit the like button, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the hearts. Thank you. A lot of hard work goes into this. I hope you guys understand.
Well, there came up and started banging on the door again for whatever reason, I don't know. My brother actually had to call the cops, and I think they came around 2:00 in the morning and removed them from our.
Now, I don't get a chance to do this on all cases, so just so you guys know, I don't do this year round, but when I'm compelled or if I feel like a certain case talks to me, then I'm going to be on it.
Property, and after that, really haven't spoken to them since. But yeah, we had to call the cops and make them leave.
The cops came, you told them to leave, and then is there anything else that you addressed with the cops while they were there?
Yeah, so the cops were asking me why these people are at my house in the first place, and I told them straight up, we don't know where our friend is at. I don't know where my best friend's at. These people don't know where their friend's at. We're trying to figure it out, and they're basically assuming that we did something to our friend, which we didn't. And he said, okay, just taking notes, and then remove them from there.
Do you think that this had anything to do with race at this point? Meaning that they approached you because of race, or they approached you because you were the last people with no.
So at this point, they just want answers. I don't think this was about race at this point. They're mad and furious, and they don't know what's going on.
But I also want to get this straight. Like, I know some of these people, and these people are like good people.
Yeah.
And I went to high school with these guys. Like, they know me and I know them, and they know my friends and they know them. This wasn't about race. They just knew for a fact that Nolan went on the boat with us. And they were worked up, and that's okay. And they were mad, but that wasn't handling things. That wasn't trying to help. You getting mad isn't helping anything.
Are you kidding me? Nolan is missing, man. Do you understand what that means, brother? Certain people wouldn't even give you this kind of grace.
But instead of solving the problem and trying to figure out, hey, where is Nolan, they were just getting pissed off and not handling things the right way. And I mean, that's what happened.
You guys said you ended up going and looking for Nolan the next morning, but you said you were thinking about doing it that night.
Yes.
And why didn't you do it that night?
So we already called the Coast Guard at this point. We didn't have access to a boat that was already in the water ready to go, other than one that I'm just not allowed to use at all. And I was still this close to taking it out. I mean, I was right there.
So you guys go the next morning, you look for Nolan. Can you explain how did that happen? Who was looking for Nolan? Who was on the boat? Was it multiple boats? Was
Multiple
it one
boats.
boat? Okay, can you explain that? Who was out of this group? Who was on what boat, or who was on a boat or not, going out and looking for Nolan?
So me, Wyatt, and Trayson got in the boat. We got in the Palm Beach.
Well, if Nolan is missing, you can only understand that people are going to be mad, and you can't tell people how to respond to certain situations. So I'm not here to judge anyone.
That morning, the morning after, and we rode out to the islands, and we were met by a DMR. There was 7 DMR boats already out there, DMR and park rangers. We talked to them. We gave them all of our information. They personally asked if any of us were like on the boat with him that day. We told them yes. They just said, all right, well, I mean, we got the area scoped out. I mean,
In other words, you got to get out of here.
I mean, and then after that, we just went up to the beach. I think we met up with y'all in the water.
I took my boat out with Jax and a couple friends of mine, and then my mom and my stepdad. And
they were out there too with you?
Correct. And I just met Morgan and Wyatt and Trayson and his girlfriend out there. And we actually, like, when I rolled up, I parked up next to Morgan and everybody who was with him. And I was like, well, y'all can run around, or like, we all planned this out. Like, Morgan was going to run around the south side while we covered the north side. And we were just going to try to cover as much ground as possible. But I mean, there were so many DMR boats and helicopters and drones and everything else out there. I don't really know what an 18 and a 25-foot bay boat is really going to do. So, I mean, we sat out there. We went for a couple hours and we looked around and we searched, but we also don't fit the requirement that DMR has, and the tools that DMR and United Cajun Navy and all these departments have to look for somebody. Like, I mean, we didn't put that much of a help out, but yes, of course, we went out there and looked for a friend. That's not a question.
Who else in the friend group was out there? Did you see Nolan's family? Did you see some of the other kids that showed up at your house? You see anybody else out there?
We did see a couple other. We met up with.
So listen, guys, we have to be able to see those same cameras and who came back on the Triton. Okay, we need to see that. We need to see who came back on Bart's boat. If the cameras were working that morning, the cameras should be working when the boats came back too, right? So how convenient we've had a chance to see the early morning, which now we see that that's an issue, because now we figured out Nolan didn't get on the Triton. Okay, at least from the reference point that we've seen thus far. Maybe more intel, they'll show us something different, but we're just going based on what we saw.
Coach that was previously Nolan's high school coach, we met up with him. They said that they had previously already been on the island. They walked a good bit down the island both ways, and they were just driving around the island like we were doing. And we eventually got off the island. We got on this rip current. It was going west out towards like Ship Island, and then back towards Biloxi. And we drove that for a couple miles. People were also looking on that too. There was multiple boats out there not associated with DMR, with binoculars. There was people fishing the rip, and we asked them, like, they rode it all the way from Ocean Springs all the way out to Horn Island, and we were like, did you see anything, blah, 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 because I mean, if a person is floating in the water, treading water, they are going to be most likely in the rip, and that all comes into play with the washing machine. I mean, you got
You explain the washing machine for me.
Horn Island and Ship Island. I mean, they come like this, and then there's no island right here, so it just tons of water flows through. The tide goes out. I mean, sometimes it gets pretty gnarly in there, and it creates this big old pool, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, if someone was floating, treading water out in the water, that's where they would be. They could be hung up. They could grab onto a log and float with a piece of driftwood or something, or they could find a channel marker or buoy and grab onto that. So, I mean, there was just main keys that you search for, like when you're trying to search for a missing person that has to do with water. And I mean, it's either the island, the buoys, or the rip. And then after that, there's not really anything else you can do. Seriously.
And when did you guys communicate with law enforcement? Because the internet, I think, has this false information that you guys never contacted authorities, and that Warren actually talked to me, or you guys talked to me first before you engaged. So when did you guys actually talk to law enforcement and give your statements to them?
So as soon as we got off the water from searching for Nolan,
which is on the day of the 5th?
Yeah, the 5th. As soon as we got off the water, I got a phone call. I believe he got a phone call too.
Yeah, I got a phone call while we were out there.
I got a phone call too as well.
So basically what it was saying was, hey, take a few questions over the phone, answer the questions, and then they had a date for us to come in for actual.
All right, so the police gave them a semi-interview, questions over the phone, followed by a date to actually come in and be questioned, right? So that's a new process.
Questioning.
Okay.
And mine was the 6th. There's like the next day or something like that, you know. I think theirs was too.
I believe mine was the 7th. I would like to say, but not for sure. But
mine was around.
Regardless, like we all cooperated fully. It's not like we had something.
Yeah,
like
full cooperation from the start.
Yeah,
really.
100%.
And how deep did they go in this interview with you guys?
Oh, they asked
all the way. I mean, they asked.
I mean,
how long was the interview? Like, was it
an hour and
a half? I dotted every I, crossed every T. I told my friends, like, listen, go in there and like say every detail.
He dotted every I, crossed every T. Looks like he cooperated, right? What do you think?
Like even what you like ate for breakfast that morning. It doesn't matter everything you have, because like anything could help. You literally never know. And like it's what we all did. Like we all cooperated. We all wanted to help. We all did everything that we could to help. Regarding this situation, it's not like we just like.
I could say personally, I started my story from the night before.
Yeah, I started
whenever I got off work on Friday.
I started my story from last 5th of July. Like she was like, all right, take me back to day one. And I was like, all right, I mean, we've been talking about this since the 5th of July last year. Like what we're going to do, like how we're going to make this better. How are we going to make this funner? Like,
as far as the investigation is concerned, did you guys give your phones over to investigators?
Yes, we gave our phones over freewillingly. It was our choice just to give our phones over, let them look through them, whatever they wanted to do, and got them back.
Because we have nothing to hide. We wanted to be fully transparent with, the sheriff's department, everybody else.
All right, so based on everything we heard tonight, it looks like these guys have nothing to hide. They told all their stories, and that's what they're saying, folks. Yeah.
Including the FBI and, anything to do with justice, we wanted to help out, and that's what we did. We gave our phones up, and like Jack stated, we have nothing, we literally have nothing to hide. So.
Yeah.
And everybody gave their phones up.
Correct.
Yep.
To be forensically evaluated by the FBI.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So while on the topic of phones, did you guys have any access to Nolan's phone? Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone? What's your thoughts on Miss Christine saying things may have been deleted?
My thought is that's a blatant lie. I know for a fact that this is the thing. We have no reason to get on Nolan's phone. I have no reason to get on any of my friends' phones.
He said that's a blatant lie. Wow.
If I had a reason to get on Nolan's phone, I wouldn't be able to get on it because I don't know Nolan's
Where are those 15 people at? They sound they sound scary, right?
password. I don't know any of my friends' passwords. If I handed Jax my phone right now, he wouldn't be able to get on my phone. I have nothing.
I'd have him permanently locked out of that thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
I have no idea how to get on Nolan's phone to delete anything. But in the first place, we have nothing to delete on Nolan's phone. Like, I don't know what this, because Nolan didn't take Snapchats that day. That means things were deleted.
He was just living in the moment.
We were just living in the moment, like every guy on the planet.
I think listen, I can't speak on these guys or who did what, right? But based on everything that I've discovered, and you guys know I've been really on this case, I think that you're going to be shocked with the authorities. That's what I'm thinking. I could be proven wrong, but I think there's so much going on in this case. Don't be surprised if you wake up someday and they say, "Oh, in this case there's some arrest," or what have you, I don't know who it could be or who did what, but I would not be shocked in this case because it's taking them so long. Either it's going to be some major charges or it's going to be squeaky clean, right? So we'll see how this all develops.
Earth does. I mean, like, I'm not sitting here filming my whole day. And I get Nolan, yeah, took a lot of pictures, but just because Nolan didn't take any pictures from July 3rd to July 4th doesn't mean we deleted something. No, Nolan just didn't take any pictures. And that's perfectly fine. I have one video in my camera roll saved from the 4th of July.
So last question, is there anything you guys want to say to the audience regarding this interview that wasn't covered or something you just want to get off your chest?
Okay, so this is where you have to really pay attention. I don't want to elaborate, but you just have to pay close attention.
I mean, Nolan was like a brother to all of us. I mean, we loved him dearly.
Yeah, Nolan was like a brother to us, and I can say without a doubt, nobody wants to know what happened to him more than we do. I mean, we want to know what happened to our best friend more than anybody, and I promise you that.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's like sat here and supported us through this horrible moment. I mean, we're still teenagers at the end of the day, and for the internet to come and people to come and accuse you of killing.
He makes a good point. They're just teenagers, so they definitely would have had adults involved in trying to understand the day and to navigate through life, right?
Your best friend. It's a horrible thing, and I know Nolan wouldn't want this.
Oh no!
And it's terrible that it's come to this. It's terrible that it's come to a race battle. But I want everybody to know how much we appreciate the support, and that my friends and I literally sit there and pray for everybody who's sitting here and sending this hate on everybody. Like, my friends are really upset about this, and so am I. That like this has turned into this huge thing. So I just want people to know that we're praying for people. Our faith with the Lord's strong, and we're gonna make it through this regardless of what people say about us.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing. Nolan is turning in his grave right now. This is the last thing he would ever want his friends to be going through.
Yeah,
like the absolute last. Like this is he's gosh, he would not want any of this. He wouldn't want this publicity. The fact that we couldn't even go to our best friend's funeral because one, we didn't want to take the attention away from him. I mean, that was his day. We didn't want to do that. And the fact that we couldn't even go to our best friend's funeral is horrible. That's something we got to live with.
The rest of our lives.
So you say you couldn't go. Can you explain that a little more?
In a way, they have become the victims too, right? What do you guys think?
More, were you told that you couldn't go, or was it something that you derived from the feedback that you've been getting from the family? What made you ultimately make the decision not to go to the funeral?
So it was a little bit of both. It was one. Well, at first we had our head.
One was those 15 people showing up in the middle of the night. That'll have you definitely not want to go to a funeral or any place else, really.
Then we're like, all right, we're gonna go. We want to go. This is the last time we ever get to see our best friend. We're gonna go. And then as soon as we made up our minds with that, everybody was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you are not. You are going to either get jumped, hurt, something bad's going to happen to you, you go to that funeral. And then on top of that, they point out another fact that we're going to take the attention away from him, and that's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah, 100%. And then, like they both said, like Nolan's like a brother to us, and now me and all my friends have to live with. Imagine you were 19 years old and your best friend just died, and now the whole internet's accusing you of killing him. And on top of that, you can't go to his funeral and say your last goodbyes to one of your best friends. Because regardless, and Morgan and Jack feel the same way, and so does White, everybody else. I can speak on their behalf about this. Regardless about what the internet says about our relationships with Nolan, we know from the bottom of our heart who Nolan was to us and who we were to Nolan. And at the end of the day, I can say this confidently. We were Nolan's closest friends, and we were Nolan's best friends. And this isn't a competition. I know a bunch of guys that were best friends with Nolan too, like Javon and him. Javon and Nolan were like brothers too. But this isn't to take attention away from them. But this was a brotherhood. Like this was my brother, and for someone to take away, and the internet to take away our privileges to go to his funeral because they think this was a racial thing is absolutely horrible. And like we all feel that way. Like it's sick. Like seriously, it's absolutely sick.
Thank you guys for coming on the interview.
All right. It's absolutely sick. Did you hear that? It's sick what, in a way, they have become the victims of this whole story, guys. All right. So it's been a very long night. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We covered so much ground. I think it's only appropriate, though, that for the last thing for me to show is going to be that video one more time. One more time for the road, okay? So here we go. Let me get rid of this other video. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's play this here. We're going to play this one last time for the road. Nolan doesn't appear to get on the Triton. Okay, so you can see the individuals are gathered here. You're going to notice that there's a boat under, right? And then there's a boat over here to the side, okay? Okay, so that's the Triton, okay? And you're going to see the Triton actually start to take off here. It's backing out. See, it's backing out. Keep your eyes on the brown cover. As it backs out and goes into the next frame, you still see it backing out, okay? And here it goes, it's backing out. And now you see Nolan, he comes walking right here. This is Nolan walking along, okay? There's Nolan, all right? Did you see that? I hope this helps you guys put it into perspective. It doesn't appear that Nolan got on the Triton at all. But we'll have to see how all of this pans out. We just covered a lot of material tonight. I want to thank you very much for tuning in tonight. It's been a long night. We've been on here for 3 hours. Oh, my goodness. A lot of great points tonight we picked up on. But most importantly, we hope that some justice comes for Nolan. At least to find out what happened to him. Imagine you heard how the story played out that night in regards to the mother. And basically all she received was a few words, a few ideas of what could have happened to her son that night. But other than that, nobody really knew what happened to Nolan, right? What a shame. That's a low down, dirty shame. You can only imagine the frustration. Thank you, Phil James, for the $9.99. Phil says, is there anything new in this case, or are we just speculating at best? Nothing new, no real new development. Okay, so we're waiting to hear what the outcome is going to be in regards to this case. Mustang, good to see you. All right, Jess. Okay, thank you. I do believe, and I do have the letters. I put it in the members section. But from what I understand is maybe the lawyers or the attorneys are under the impression that nothing nefarious happened. So we're going to get into that tomorrow night. I want to thank you guys very much. I'll be traveling out for Carmelo Anthony, so we'll see what happens, what develops in regards to that case. It should be a big week in regards to his case, finding out. I think on Wednesday, they make the determination, or they petition the judge to see if they can actually have a new judge in this case, right? And then on Thursday, they actually file a motion, and the motion gets heard as to whether a new trial will be okay. Will that work out? A lot of people are saying free Melo. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow for news at noon. And after that, I will be traveling. That's right. So we won't be able to do this tomorrow night, but we will do it soon. And I appreciate each and every one of you. We covered a lot of ground tonight. Keep in mind that we do not have anyone that has been charged or any suspects. We don't have much information at all when it comes to this case. We're doing research, just looking at the case. But again, we are waiting on the authorities to see what the final outcome will be, if anything at all, right? So keep that in mind. We continue to look at cases. We ask questions, but we're careful not to go around accusing people without having any type of solid information. So let's just be clear in regards to that. Thank you very much. Have a good night. It was nice hanging out with you guys tonight, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Thank you.
Watching from the window as the rain begins to fall. Different streets, but we're walking through it all. You carry your story and I carry mine, but the weight feels the same when we stand in line. And I know we don't look the same, but I hear you calling my name, standing together, watching the world go round, standing together. We won't let it tear us down. Your hands know a language mine never learned, but the fire inside us both still burns. Different colors painted on the same old sky. Every shade is beautiful if you just look twice. And I know we don't sound the same, but I feel you calling my name, standing together, watching the world go round, standing together. We won't let it tear us down, standing together. Our differences keep us strong, standing together. This is where we belong. Nobody said it would be easy to see through another man's eyes, but the love that we keep building is worth every compromise. Standing together, watching the world go round, standing together. We won't let it tear us down. Standing together, our differences keep us strong. Standing together, this is where we belong.